This is the Big O Show. 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 This is
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Why is it that you get locked out in the worst moments of your life?
Where are my car keys? Man, I can't find my house keys.
In those frustrating moments, you need a locksmith you can count on. A. Lenny Locksmiths in South Florida, from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, A. Lenny locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business. Car key replacements and programming all model cars. 24-hour service. Call them at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
Tyreek called out Eli Apple after Sunday's game.
Can't wait to go against Eli Apple, man. I owe you, boy.
You know, if Tyreek is matched up with him and we call a play for Tyreek and it's one-on-one, I'm giving Tyreek a shot. Just know that he is getting the ball.
When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
And we are ready to rock. Hope you all are doing well. We are out here at Hialeah Park having some fun like we always do every Thursday out here at Hialeah Park. Let me adjust a couple things here. There we go. Yes. See where we're going. There we go. All right. Anyway, welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you all are well out there. We are getting ready for we got a long day today, right? But today's a good day, and today's a great day where the Dolphins have an opportunity to do something they haven't done in a long time, man. This is one of those where I can't wait. I gotta say, cannot wait, man. This is gonna be fun. Miami, I mean, all of this is kind of new to young people that are Dolphin fans. This is refreshing for older fans like myself who love this team and wanted to succeed. And, you know, you've been dying to, I don't know, cover a good Dolphins team. That's something that hasn't happened here in a long time. And so we've got the opportunity now to have a really good Dolphins team and to enjoy this. And look, I'm not gonna tell you, oh, well, you know, I'm not gonna sit here and set up, well, if they lose, you know, look, 3-1 is gonna be fantastic. Okay, that's fine. But you got a great shot tonight at going 4-0 and really setting yourself up. The schedule, it's not that I don't like playing the schedule game, as you guys know, following this show for many years now. I don't like to assume that things are going to be easier, but right now you look at the matchups, and Miami is going to be favored in a lot of those matchups as the season goes on after this one. And hey, man, look the whole the Tua news, which that isn't news, by the way, that Tua is playing today. Did anybody really think Tua was going to miss? He played with fractured ribs and a fractured knuckle. You know, it's just like these reports come out, well, Tua is going to play. Yeah, really? Wow. I mean, you know, Barstool already put out some video. Oh, God. I don't know if you guys saw that one. That was – but what do you expect? You know, you're at – what is it, Nippon Stadium for Cincinnati, and you're out there in the open and people can film it. So, you know, for those of you that don't know, somebody from Barstool Sports apparently filmed the Dolphins walkthrough, and they posted it on social media, and it exploded and all that. The Dolphins did ask Barstool to take it down, and they chose not to. And listen. I blame the Dolphins for putting themselves in a position where they can be filmed and they didn't have the security to protect themselves. So that's on them. And then the second thing is Barstool is not really considered a news source. So you can't expect them to take this kind of stuff serious. They like to screw around. So for them, this is beneficial. You know what I mean? Now, on the flip side, From what I understand, Barstool is also they've got a gambling app. That's actually not good if you're exposing stuff that could, give somebody an edge when it comes to gambling. If there's any kind of edge to get from that film that was out there, which I'm not sure. I don't know. Whatever, man. It just, I don't think that film is going to determine whether the Bengals win or the Dolphins lose today. Let's be quite honest. It's going to be a lot about what you just saw at the beginning of that video. It's going to be about Tyreek beating Eli Apple. Okay. It's going to be about Waddle making plays. It's going to be about Miami's secondary once again getting tested in a big time way and having to come through. So that's really what it's all about. It's not about a lot of the other stuff on the periphery that really does not matter, overall. So to me, it's not one of those things that you should be incredibly concerned about when, watching that whole mess with the video. But on both sides, what Barstool is. You can't expect them to really take this stuff serious. And on the flip side, I gotta lay it at the feet of the Dolphins. If you're gonna go practice at some, college stadium, then make sure you've got the proper security to that nobody's around and filming it. But apparently there's a lot of public access to that stadium. And so it's really hard to hide. And you live and learn. It is what it is, but what are you going to do? Anyway, so don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. Should be fun today. Line went down to 3.5. How about that? I got it at 4 yesterday. I saw it at 4. I took advantage of it, and I took Dolphins +4 in this one, man. We'll have our lockdown segment, but you kind of know already what's coming in the lockdown segment, overall. And Tua expected to play and X, and I'm not surprised. These guys have 10 days after this, and they're 3-0. And remember, I thought about from the post game on how much emotion will be in this game for the Dolphins because they have spent so much emotion in the first 3 games. And the Bengals don't mean anything to the Dolphins at all. But I started to think about this, and this is a team that is excited about having success. And Tyreek is motivated to have success because he wants to pull a Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying, right? He wants to leave Kansas City and go have as much or more success in Miami than he had in Kansas City. So he can prove to Kansas City that, hey, you should have paid me. You pay me, and look, I've helped this team now win a Super Bowl. That kind of stuff. And Deion Sanders did that many decades ago when he went from San Francisco to Dallas. And he helped out. I mean, not that he was the guy why they won, but he was one of the important pieces that they added and they needed in order to get over the hump. And I think that was the Barry Switzer team, if I'm correct. It's right after Jimmy got pushed out from the whole Dallas situation. And so this is something that's happened in this league before. So it's not Brady the first time, doing something like this. Deion did this many years ago for those of us that are old enough and remember that. And here's Tyreek Hill. Well, a corner did it. A quarterback did it. Will a wide receiver now do it? That's the question. And we'll see. Charles Haley did it too, right? He went to multiple teams that won, titles with him being the guy in San Francisco and in Dallas too. And we'll see if Tyreek Hill can actually do something like that. But Teron Armstead, I'm sure, is motivated to have success here. So you sign some important veterans that I think are also motivated to, play well and finish their careers off in a strong fashion. And then you've got all these guys here that have never had this kind of success. And they've got to be hungry. And they've got to want this. And look how they play. So I think we're going to get an incredibly motivated Dolphins team tonight. And one that really wants to kind of send the message. And listen, let's thank the haters. You know, as much as we're now making fun of the haters, as much as we're making fun of the doubters, as much as we're making fun of the clueless, right? That said that Chris Greer couldn't put together a team and that Tua can't play and all that good stuff. Well, that's also fuel for the fire, right? Tyreek Hill's hearing all offseason, well, dude, you play with Mahomes. How are you going to make big plays in this offense with Tua noodle arm Tungavailoa? Right? Noodle arm. Can't throw deep, too short. Right? Even some of you are like, oh, he's a lefty. I don't know. Lefties, do they succeed? Don't tell them about Steve Young and Ken Stabler. I mean, why would you do that? Boomer Esiason. I mean, why would you tell them anything about left-handed quarterbacks? You know what I'm saying? So all these stupid narratives that were developed, they end up becoming motivating factors. Because if you keep telling Tyreek he can't do it, well, he's going to end up doing it. And if Tua only hears from you people out there that he can't do it, well, I think he's kind of motivated to stick it to you. So thank you for that, at least. Your stupidity, your ignorance, your lack of knowledge, or just flat out, you chose the wrong side. You've done a favor to some of these Dolphins. You've motivated them. You know, Teron Armstead's hearing about, well, can the line ever be fixed? It's been a problem here at Teron forever. Connor's hearing that. So you got two veterans that are leading this group here. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on, and there's a lot of motivation. And so tonight I would expect one hell of an effort by the Dolphins. It's not going to be easy. I'm not making this out to be an easy game by any stretch whatsoever. This is an incredibly difficult game. This is an incredibly difficult task. To win your first 4 games in the NFL, I don't care if you're playing 4 straight home games. It's difficult. To win the 4th game on the road in a short week on a Thursday night when you're banged up after a physically brutal contest that your defense was on the field for 90 plays, this is really, really tough. The Bengals are desperate. They cannot fall to 1-3, as we've talked about throughout the week. They fought a 1-3. You know what it is? Well, it's kind of what I expected from the Bengals this year. Same thing that happened to Ken Anderson. Same thing that happened to Boomer Esiason. When they made their surprise trips to the Super Bowl and didn't win, they didn't go back. And so I don't expect the Bengals to go back this year anyway. So this is kind of the MO, as they say, of the Bengals. Once in a while, they'll surprise you. They'll make it all the way to the Super Bowl. They won't win it, but they'll never come back again. That's the sad reality for Bengals fans. That's been the long-term reality, and I don't see this team being a Super Bowl winner either, or even participant this year. In fact, I'll tell you, the Dolphin roster is better than the Bengals roster. Helps when you get a coach and assist your quarterback, and then all of a sudden your quarterback can grow into the player he's supposed to be. Jamie Zorrilla, number 1 in. Thank you, sir, out in San Jose, California. Says, let's kick some Bengal booty. And also says, smash that like button. Very important. Smash that like button. To Extreme, Omar Lopez, Joseph Fontinha. Big O, you the man. You know Dolphins football. Thank you, sir. At least I know something. Outside of that, I don't know anything else. Just ask my wife. Corey from West Palm Beach. It's game day. Let's go, Fins. Andy Marquez. Gus 1388. I'm with you, Gus. He's in Deltona, Florida. And yes, prayers to all of our friends in the West Coast, through Central Florida, Everybody going through a brutal stretch now with Ian. We got lucky here in South Florida, man. Just a little rain, a little wind, no real big damage overall. So we got lucky here in South Florida, but the rest of Florida is not as lucky. So we definitely, if we can help, let's help. But prayer is definitely up, and hopefully also good to see Biden and DeSantis teaming up and making sure that they get the proper help for our state too. On top of all of that, and our friends in I believe South Carolina have got a brace for it next, right? So be careful out there. Alex Palenzuela, Ian from Brooklyn. Eric Scott is in. Kyle Cockrell, Bromar Smelly. To Extreme says, today our Dolphins are going to feast on Joe Burrow. I say 7 sacks, 2 interceptions, 1 fumble recovery, and we win by 13. Tua throws for 324 yards and 2 touchdowns. I'll tell you this, To Extreme. They need to do one thing for sure, okay? And they got to continue doing what they've done the last couple of weeks. They have bent, but they have not broken. And I know we're asking them to even get better and play better defense. And I hope they do. But Joe Mixon hasn't really gotten it going. Miami has got to try to corral him. That's not going to be easy. You've got 3 wide receivers that are a bitch on that team. But I will give this Dolphin defense credit. Even whether it's the Ravens game, whether it's the Bills game, they didn't play great defense throughout that game. They gave up their share of yards and sometimes even points like in the Ravens game. But somehow or another, when push came to shove, they made the plays they had to with the Ravens down the stretch. In the fourth quarter, they shut down Lamar and they kept giving the ball back to Tua and company, and they kept scoring. And then in the Bills game, they did give up a lot of yards, but they somehow did not give up a lot of points, a lot of scores, even though they gave up a ton of yards. And that's one thing that I've got to give a lot of credit to when it comes to this offense. I mean, to this defense. They have made you a little nervous, but then somehow or another, they find a way to tighten up, man, and shut the opponent down in the key moments of a game. Josh Allen was right there to take the lead. Some of you even wanted the Dolphins to let them score, which would have been a major mistake probably. And yet they found a way to stop them. And they made play after play after play, and you're like, holy crap, man. And the Ravens game too. In the Ravens game, that second quarter, they allowed 21 points. They were down by a ton. And then in the fourth quarter, Lamar Jackson could not get it done anymore. The offense couldn't get it done anymore. And they kept shutting down Lamar in that offense, and they kept handing it back to Tua, and they took the lead. So this defense needs to do what it's done the first 3 weeks. It needs to be clutch. It may not be pretty at times, but it needs to be clutch. It's really, really important, and it's something that they've done throughout, and I got to give them a lot of credit so far, and tonight will be another incredible test. We shall see what we shall see. And by the way, if you go to Sports Grill, they've got 7, soon to be 8 great locations. The Doral location is not open yet, but during the NFL and NCAA football season, they've got great football specials. $1.50 Bud Lights and bottles. By the way, the drafts and the bottles during NCAA or NFL games. They've got $12 domestic pitchers. Bone-in wings are now 15% off. They've got the new items on the menu like the Buffalo Tater Tots. They've got hot sauces available for you to take home. Oh, you love those Sports Grill sauces? Well, the buffalo sauce, the Miami Heat, the blackberry, the barbecue, the Dale, or the Dale, that is, for our Latin folks out there. The Kendall location has got milkshakes. They are delicious, folks. And they've got a little rock and roll music playing all night long, which, you know me, and a little rock and roll, there's nothing wrong with that. Mondays, the $7 single smash burger, $2 $2 tacos on Tuesdays, chicken, beef, or fish. And Wednesdays, the kids eat for free with a purchase of an adult entree. Sports Grill, baby. Check it out. 7 great, soon to be 8 locations. Go to the website, find the location nearest you, sportsgrill.com. And tomorrow we will have our Sports Grill Fantasy Football Zone with Scott Pianowski. So we get you ready for the games over the weekend. We've got some news on our platform. We are still in the mix of trying to find a home for our pre- and post-game show for our Miami Dolphins broadcast, which is this is kind of strange. Well, we now have a home for the Miami Hurricanes pre- and post-game broadcast. It's I would have never guessed that we would have found the home first for the Canes over the Dolphins, especially with the Dolphins. Man, the YouTube alone is like going over 30,000 views for the post game and a little bit of the pregame too. So it is amazing how the numbers have exploded for the Dolphins, but it's coming. Somebody is we're in the middle of little negotiations, but walk-ons in Kendall at 9065 Southwest 162nd Avenue. You get off the turnpike, you go a little west and about a couple miles, and you'll run right into it. It's on the left side, right off of Kendall Drive. Great walk-ons, man. It is ginormous. It's got a whole ton of TVs everywhere. The food, I don't know if you've tried the food at walk-ons, but I eat the food at walk-ons all the time because this walk-ons happens to be blocks from my house. So it's actually like really cool that this ended up happening. But they're terrific people. They the manager, as she runs the location here in Miami and in Kissimmee and Orlando, 3 locations in Florida. And you never know, you might see us do a show up in Kissimmee or Orlando's locations. I'm just telling you, it might end up happening. We're working on those kind of things down the line. But for now, we are going to be now every game day, all right, for the Canes. We will be at Walk-Ons in Kendall. So if you want a place to go to eat some great food, great service, great drinks, clean and ginormous, big-ass sports bar, man. And they've got TVs everywhere. I mean, you will not miss any of the action, UM or any of the other college games going on. So we'll be at Walk-Ons in Kendall, and starting on the 8th of October, which is the game for the University of Miami and UNC, we'll be there. Pre-game will start off at 2 o'clock. The kickoff is at 4. So Mike McCoy and myself will have the pre-game show for you out there at Walk-Ons. So come on out and join us, man. Walk-Ons in Kendall. That's the place to go now to hang out with us for the Canes games. We will get one for the Dolphins, I promise you. We will get one. We're going to work on it where we're going to end up with a permanent home for the next few years, because that's what we want to do. We want to kind of build it up where we're in the same bar every single year, moving on, so we can kind of make it a tradition. And that's what I was hoping to start last year. But it's all right. We will change it up and we will figure it out. Big O, do you think that the video situation at Cincinnati was part of McDaniel's plan, or is that too much even for him? Yeah. It's we live in this conspiracy theory world, that everything's a conspiracy theory and everything is not a conspiracy theory. This was just bad planning by the Dolphins. That's it. There's no other way to put it, dude. You put yourself in a public place and you don't get the proper protection for it. It's on you. The barstool people, that's up. They're going to do what they do, and they are what they are. They're not a legitimate news organization. You don't turn to them for any kind of news or anything like that. They're out to have fun, man. Portnoy and company, they have built a monster, and they're out to have fun. They're out to screw around and stuff. So I wasn't surprised that they didn't take down the video. Now, I don't know if they can be sued, or I don't know if the NFL or the Dolphins can do anything or what. And again, that whole betting app that they have, that Portnoy has, that might be a bad thing for him in a way. But it's not. It's definitely not McDaniel going, oh, let me feed them BS plays. It's a short week. You don't have time to be playing, clowning around with that kind of stuff. And they film the whole practice. So for the whole practice, they're going to be, sending out fake plays. That's a waste of time. They don't. No, not even close. Chaz says, to me, game manager means you can't play big moments. Tua is not that. If anything, Herbert's a game manager from all the choking he does. I don't know what Herbert is yet. I do know this. He's not necessarily a big-time performer. And so I need to see that several times so I can believe that. I know he's got a big-time arm. I know he's big-time athletic. I know he can make some incredible throws. I know physically he's an amazing specimen. No doubt about it. Athletically, an amazing specimen. Show me the ice in the veins. Show me the big wins, the big comebacks. Tell me why you don't have a winning record at any stretch in your career. Tell me why. So Dolphins win the toss tonight. Do they take the ball or put the defense out there right away? It's a great question. I would probably put the offense out there right away and put some pressure on them right from the get-go and score on them. Rosendo says, don't care much about the media press or on Tua. We know what he is. What matters is the team's success and wins. Oh, I don't know about that, Rosendo. Some people say that wins isn't a category how you measure quarterbacks. That's some stupid shit right there when somebody says that. Seriously. Wins are not the way you measure a quarterback? Really? Really? Is that what you're going with, right? Yeah, of course not. Yeah. Wins don't matter. For Tua, of course, wins don't matter. Really amazing the stupid shit some of you come up with to try to defend your wrong-ass argument on Tua. Just say you're wrong, man. Just say you're wrong about Chris Greer. Just say you're wrong about Tua Tagovailoa. Don't keep making excuses. You make yourself look just really, really ignorant and bad, dude. Greg says, what do you think about the media moving the goalpost for Tua? They find a way to swing the narrative every time. Now he's a game manager. Yeah, they're idiots. That's all. So I know, listen, what is it? Peter Schrager, Rich Eisen, like real Tua people. Trying to remember, there's very few in the media. Very few of us that I know in the media that are like steadfast, like, no, dude, Tua's fine. It's not him. It's only a couple of us. And outside of that, most everybody else was just, and that, let me tell you something. How can so many people get it wrong? What was it about those so few of us in the media that saw it and so many in the media got it wrong? Like wrong. Right? It's weird. It happens all over the place. And it's just that to me was kind of it's trippy. I was actually talking to my wife about that yesterday. It's like, how is it that very few of us saw it and then everyone else was? And I almost think that it's just kind of this lazy society that you're afraid to have or think on your own. So you'll follow everybody else and be a sheep just so you don't look odd. Yeah, Orlovsky was also a Tua guy. You are correct. Emmanuel Acho has also, but the only thing about Acho, I wonder, because I know he's strong on it now. Was he like that from the get-go? Was he like that last year on Tua? Like, I'll give you an example. My boy Channing. He wasn't on the Tua bandwagon. He is now. But last year, I heard him. He wasn't on Tua. He didn't believe Tua was the guy. So now he's changed his tune, and now he's riding it, because Channing had a whopper. He thought Ryan Tannehill could play, and Tua couldn't. So, you know what I mean? Now he's on it, but he wasn't on it before. Now, I know because, I catch the guys once in a while in the afternoon when I get in the car. I don't listen to it as much because it's not really sports talk. So they're usually just clowning around, and they do a great job. There's a place for all of that, and they do a terrific job screwing off. I just, I don't listen to it that much because it's not really sports talk, and I like listening to sports talk. If I'm going to turn on the radio, the few times that I'm going to be in the car and I might turn on the radio to listen to these guys, it's got to be some sports talk, or if not, I'm pretty much out, overall. But I remember that he was not on it last year. In the middle of all of that. So, Channing's one guy I would never take any quarterback advice from because he thought Ryan Tannehill was the guy and Tua wasn't. So, and by the way, if you have any of your friends like Channing that didn't think Tua could play but thought Ryan Tannehill could play, wow. Trust me. I took all the notes the last 2 years. I know who wasn't on the train. Okay? And I know Channing got on it late. You're not allowed on it, buddy. You're not allowed on it. You just, you were with the wind and now you realize you were wrong, so now you're getting on it, but you're not on it. And so, yeah. Brian Baldinger. Was Baldinger really a Tua guy, or he's a Mike McDaniel guy? I don't remember him touting Tua last year or the year before. I'm sorry, I don't remember that one. I remember Brian Baldinger talking Mike McDaniel, not talking Tua up a year ago or 2 years ago. Remember, I'm talking about people like me. Okay, go back and look at the videos of a year and 2 years ago where I'm telling you, you get him a real coach, and you get him a real offense, and he's a Pro Bowl quarterback. Okay? I'm the one telling everybody last year that you put him on whatever teams that like Tennessee, and he'll go farther than Ryan Tannehill any day of the week. And Kirk Cousins, and he'll do the same thing Matt Stafford did last year and better, I think, actually. Because he doesn't make the stupid throws as many times as Stafford will, off balance and crap like that. So, Christopher Henry says, Coward says we're getting blown out. Christopher, you're sad, bro. You're listening to that guy. And the worst part is you're following and repeating what he's saying. Like, really, dude. Seriously. On this show, you may not want to brag that you listen to Coward or what's the other clown? Bayless or something. I'm just going to make fun of you, actually. I'm going to ask you, like, what do you find from that? I just wonder, why do you want to listen to a troll? It's like, that's pathetic shit that goes on that show. It's a joke. But he's racking in the cash. What GM drafted Tannehill? Come on, man. Jeff Ireland. Louis Riddick is a Tua guy since the draft. Yes, I think you are correct. I think Riddick is a Tua guy. You're right. Yeah, Baldy's a McDaniel 49er guy. Exactly. Baldy's not a Tua guy. He wasn't like talking Tua up last year like I was. I don't, Big O. Just caught a clip. Yeah, don't catch any clips. Don't feed into that garbage, Christopher, at all. Don't talk about them. Don't pass it on. Don't give clowns like that any kind of pub, dude. it's not worth it. Those people aren't real talk show hosts. All they are trolls on TV to try to get a rise out of you guys. That's all they do. Keyshawn and Chris Canty should never be. Well, I mean, we've talked about Keyshawn. I can tell the lazy athlete that puts no work into what they're doing. They just show up and watch a little football, so that's it. But they don't really do any work. So you can tell Keyshawn's, that's a lazy ass right there if I've ever seen one. He doesn't belong anywhere in our business. But hey, he's a former player, and they'll hand you so much as a former player. 80% of the former players don't belong anywhere on air or on radio. They don't belong anywhere in broadcast whatsoever. What are you going to do? They're former players, so they put them on. What else do we have here? Yes, I know about Rich. And Kurt, too, yeah. Big O, do you think they have a shot at winning this game? Is there anything since he does that scares you? Actually, there's I mean, they can pass the hell out of the ball, but I like this secondary. They find ways to make plays even though they give up yards. Mixon hasn't done anything yet. That's the guy I worry about right there. That would be one of the guys that I would worry about. But it is amazing how this team has responded. They are awesome. All right, let's get to it. Marcel Louis-Jacques is ready to go. He's ready to give us an edge on this matchup as the Dolphins get ready. And by the way, I am told you must stay at least 50 yards away from Marcel Louis-Jacques and stay in front of him because I'm told he went to go have some chili at that place that they have there in Cincinnati. It's really famous. I don't know. I heard the maids don't even want to go into the room. Let's get our Edge Energy Drink Miami Dolphins report with Marcel Louis-Jacques.
Time to get the edge on the Miami Dolphins with our Edge Energy Drink Miami Dolphins report. When you want the energy drink that's delicious and smooth with zero aftertaste, you can only order Edge Energy Drink at myedgedrink.com. That's myedgedrink.com. Here's the ESPN Dolphin insider Marcel Louis-Jacques.
All right, there he is. We're not going to hear any extra noises during this. I
did not. I did not go to Skyline last night. On the recommendation of Ben Baby, we went to I think it's called the Eagle OTR over the Rhine neighborhood. Had some good chicken, great sides, like real Southern comfort food type deal.
Okay.
Did not. We passed by Skyline Chili. I don't know if there. I assume there's more than one. We passed by one downtown.
Did you even get a? Did you even break some wind just by going by?
There was nobody in it. I think it was closed, but there's definitely nobody in it. And I had said out loud, I think I've been talked out of actually going. I think I'm good. Like chili on top of spaghetti with onions, something's not. It's not sitting right. And then when we got out the car, our Uber driver said, you got to go try it. So I'm back. I am 50-50. I'm probably not going to do it before the game, though, because, I've had an upset stomach in the press box before, and it's not fun. No. So I think I'm just going to maybe it's still open after. I'm going to take it as a sign from God.
Marcel, my wife loves chili. Okay?
Yeah.
And I took her to Skyline when we had it here. And I go, hey, man, they say, this is amazing chili. Why don't you try it? And she was like, this is so mediocre and overrated. And she's kind of, a chili connoisseur. And so she goes, yeah, this is all hype. This is all this is. This is because it's a franchise, and so it's just not, like the kind of maybe if you have some kind of family member that makes some good chili, yeah, that you're not getting that at that place, bro. You're just.
I'll tell you what though. The city of Cincinnati. I'm looking at I was trying to set the camera up so y'all could see too, but that's just not how cameras work. I'm looking at the Cincinnati skyline right now. That skyline is not overrated. That skyline is beautiful, man. I'm staying right across the river from the stadium. I see Paul Brown Stadium on the left. It's been lit up in orange at nighttime. It's got this glow to it. Really cool overhang over the top as well. Like it's a cool looking stadium right on the water. A lot of buildings, a good cluster of buildings, and then of course Great American Ballpark, which is an American institution of baseball, right next to it here. Like it's a cool little city, man. Like it's got some cool little areas. It is beautiful.
Yeah.
Rolling hills all around. I'm pleasantly surprised. After the disappointment that was Baltimore, I am pleasantly surprised by Cincinnati. Baltimore, I think, is on par with Detroit, but Detroit, I think I'm even gonna give the edge to Detroit because at least Detroit knows what it is. Baltimore feels like it's trying to fool somebody into thinking it's anything but what it is.
Yeah. No, in Baltimore,
I'm gonna try to hedge the disrespect.
And Detroit has that music scene, so it kind of helps out a little bit there. But yeah, Cleveland, Detroit, and Baltimore are kind of those depressing like cities a little bit, because it's it's very.
It's not. There's no flash to any of them, but I do like Cleveland. I think Cleveland's a good food city. I always have a good time when I'm there. You got to go with like a certain mindset, right? Like you have to go knowing, all right, like I'm hitting some dive bars, like I'm getting grimy with some Browns fans. I'm probably, might have to have the coffee waiting for me in the room afterwards. It's probably going to be a long night. Like you got to know what you get yourself into when you go to Cleveland. Like, at Baltimore, it was just like, oh, okay, this is the harbor.
And that's it.
Cool. I think that my hotel room was bad. I think if your hotel room is bad, it sets a tone for the whole experience, man. I had like old carpet, yellow walls, not even yellow, like yellow orange. I think I'm colorblind. If you remember from the last show, no artwork. Didn't get NBC on my 26-inch TV. I was like, all right, man, I want to go home. This is nice, though. This is nice.
Yeah, no, I've been to Cincinnati. It's a good place. Good people too, man. Whether it's Cleveland or Cincinnati, good people. It's just for Cleveland, I just don't find enough of a nightlife there. When I've gone, it's like it's kind of light on the nightlife there, but that's all right. I mean, maybe I don't know where to go, so that's probably.
I know a couple spots in Cleveland. There's a dive bar I always go to. I do not know what it's called. All I know is how to get there. Like if you drop me in downtown Cleveland, if you drop me in the arcade, then I could get there. It's about a 10-15 minute walk. No idea what it's called, but always a good time.
What's it called? The Flats, right? The area over there, right? Is that called the Flats or something?
I know the arcade. I know the arcade. The arcade is where I have those it's like a big indoor mall, sort of like with the glass ceiling and the atrium that comes through. There's a hotel there. I usually try to stay. I think it's a Hyatt actually, so I don't try to stay there anymore. But Team Marriott over here. But arcade's a cool area. It's got a restaurant called Butcher and the Brewer. Delicious. I go every time I'm in Cleveland. But I usually hang out there.
Have you eaten at the Butcher Shop down here in Miami for the burgers?
I'm not.
Really?
I'm not. I haven't. I need better burgers in Miami. I haven't started the burger tour yet, but I think it's about time.
Wynwood, bro.
That's right around the corner.
It's called the Butcher Shop. You haven't been to the Butcher Shop in Wynwood?
That's the one next to Koyo, right?
I think it is actually. I think it is. Yeah,
then I gotta go.
They got a whole meat market there and everything, and all the meat is there fresh. You see it, and dude, the Butcher Shop is really, really good, man. They do a nice job with their burgers. So
I gotta check it out.
Yeah, man, that's definitely a place. All right, so tonight, it's almost like, we say, okay, we look at the yards that this team has given up and points and all that. And in the Ravens game, they gave up a bunch of points, but then in the second half, and especially in the fourth quarter, they put a chokehold on Lamar in that offense, and they could only muster 3 points. They only had 7 in the third quarter, and they had 21 in the second. I don't know if you know this stat, but do you know that Miami has allowed 59 points in the first half and 18 points so far in the second half of these 3 games, and 13 of them in the third quarter and only 5 in the fourth quarter. So while the defense has bent a lot, it has not broken every time, Marcel. It's been amazing. Whatever yards they gave up to Josh Allen and whatever points and yards they gave up to Lamar, when push came to shove down the stretch, they found a way to shut both of those guys out and keep them out of the end zone and keep their team in the win column. You know, what's that say about that defense? Because a lot of people are talking about the points and the yards they're giving up. I don't think enough people are talking about the damn plays they're making at the end of games to finish these things out.
It's all up here. It's mental toughness. If you look at this defense, ever since I've covered them for the past couple of years, that's kind of been their motto, is bend but don't break. When the field shrinks, they get tough. When the field shrinks, they grow. You know, I mean, Baltimore found that out, and that's not just red zone and goal line situations. It's fourth and short as well. Lamar Jackson is a cheat code on fourth and short. He's a cheat code in the red zone. They stopped him goal line stand. He fumbled, but they stopped him in the goal line stand. They stopped him again on a huge 4th and 2 later in the second half. Josh Allen, the NFL's preeminent red zone threat, stuffed with the game on the line, stopped with the game on the line after the goal line. So it's a trademark of this defense to rise to the occasion when the field shrinks. It's bend but don't break. You hear a lot of defenses preach it. Even fewer are actually successful at running it. This defense is one that is successful at running it.
Amen to that. I mean, and again, not just the secondary. Today, this is another thing that the Jets last week, they only got 2 sacks. They have 5 on the season. They're 27th in the NFL. Dallas is number 1 in the NFL with 13 sacks. They got 6 of them against the Bengals. Pittsburgh is 8th in the NFL in sacks. They've got 9 sacks. They got 7 of them versus the Bengals. Miami is 24th in sacks with 6. Tonight's the night to get healthy with those sacks, like Pittsburgh, like Dallas has. The Jets couldn't, because the Jets really don't. They're not a great pass rush team. But Miami does have. Miami, should they? Should the Jets be?
They should be. With everybody healthy, they really should be. With Quinnen Williams, with Carl Lawson, with CJ Mosley, like they do have the horses to get after the passer, and they do have a defensive-minded coach. Like it doesn't make sense for them to be a bad defense 2 years into Robert Saleh. You can get your guys in there, and then you can coach them up. Shoot, man, Mike McDaniel is telling me that you can quickly get a team to play in your image. So I think the Jets should be better at rushing the passer, but it's kind of a sidebar. We'll not worry about that till next week.
Yeah, no. Well, I'm not worried about that. If I wasn't worried about the Patriots, I'm not worried about the Jets whatsoever. I'll worry about the Bengals. But do you think today? Okay, they've got 6 on the season. All right, how much do they get today? And do they get out? Because hey, man, Burrow hangs on to the ball. He has taken a crap ton of sacks. Obviously, I just told you right there, that's 15 sacks from those 3 teams against him. So he's getting sacked at least 5 times. So the over and under is 5. What do you say about that, Marcel Louis-Jacques?
It's tough. Like I see it both ways here, because, you know, on one hand, the defense did just play 90 snaps against Buffalo. That's not insignificant. It's the highest number of snaps a defense has played in a non-overtime game in NFL history. And then on a short week, they got to come to Cincinnati. It's not insignificant that, you know, they're going to be tired. They're going to be beat up. At the same time, when you look at the numbers, you know, you mentioned the sack numbers. I want to talk rates a little bit. They blitz at the 6th highest rate in the NFL. They're winning their pass rushes at the 5th highest rate in the NFL. 22 pressures against Buffalo last week alone, in 90 snaps or in 50 snaps. I don't care. 22 pressures is 22 pressures. The sack numbers aren't there, But if you're doing things like winning your rushes and you're being aggressive and you're creating pressure, I'm not so worried about the sacks because sacks are not necessarily indicative of a successful pass rush. They're just the most glamorous stats of a successful pass rush. If you're getting home, if you're providing pressure, then the sacks will come. That's just, it's a byproduct of the pressure and the aggression that you bring to the table. And the Bengals are allowing sacks on 10.6% of Joe Burrow's dropbacks. If you're going to get right, it's going to be tonight. If you're going to get right, it's going to be against a O-line and a quarterback that has struggled to protect and that has struggled to see pressure coming. I don't necessarily see Miami distancing themselves from their definitive strategy, from their defining strategy. I expect them to be aggressive. I expect them to try to force Burrow into quick decisions, and I expect them to keep the ball in front of them like they've done throughout the season outside of one play, the Rashard Bateman touchdown. So, like I said, there's two sides to it because on one end, I can see, okay, this is a chance for the Bengals online to get right against a tired defense. Or this is a chance for that same tired defense to take advantage of an advantageous matchup. So, something's got to give, one thing or the other here.
And by the way, of course, this segment is brought to you by Edge Energy Drink. Go to myedgedrink.com and get an energy drink that is delicious, smooth, and has zero aftertaste. Zero aftertaste. And by the way, we're going to be serving some of that Edge at our Miami Hurricanes pre- and post-game shows at Walk-Ons in Kendall. So make sure you come on out and take a taste test out there with us. And of course, order it. You can't get it in a store. You got to go online. myedgedrink.com. Use our code Big O and get 10% off your order. All right, Marcel, we look at this matchup, and Tyreek and Eli Apple are already a thing. And by the way, I love that Tua said and comes out, hey, man, if he's with him one-on-one, I'm going to take my chances. And
I am giving him the ball. I am giving Tyreek the ball. Just like that. Ain't no, I'm taking my chances. If that's a good, we like that. It is. Yeah, if they tell Tyreek one-on-one, I am giving Tyreek the ball. He basically said, are you nuts? What have you not learned from the past 7 years? That's what I'm thinking. So the Bengals secondary is mad about this. Like, they didn't like Tyreek's comments. They got their boys back, this, that, and the third. They might be mad, but they're not crazy. You're not going to put Eli Apple on Tyreek one-on-one with no safety help?
Yeah.
No. You can be as mad as you want. You can talk all you want. You are going to show that man the respect that he has deserved from his NFL career. Though you are going to roll a safety over the top, or you're going to watch him throw the do sign up at you as he runs for 65 yards. Yeah. So, cool rivalry. I love that. Job back and forth. I want to see it all game. The Bengals want to see, the fans want to see it. The nation wants to see it. But I promise you that Bengals fans do not want to see Eli Apple one-on-one with Tyreek with no safety help over the top, because it's automatic. It's a layup. You want to, Colin Cowherd talking about layups. That's a layup right there. And I think they would make that happen.
The Waddle situation, now that you're looking at who you're going up against today and tonight, Jamar Chase. So narratives were created for Tua that have been pretty much all shot down already. Narratives may be created for Chris Greer. That's been shot down, maybe even for Mike McDaniel. But narratives were created by some for Waddle. Those of us with intelligence, we try to explain to people the line doesn't give Tua much time. You can't play Waddle like you did in Alabama downfield. So then they're watching Jamar Chase put up all these monster numbers with Joe Burrow, but all of a sudden now, Waddle's putting up the monster numbers. He's going downfield. He's playing a lot like Alabama. Why? Because Armstead, Robert Hunt, Connor Williams, and the boys are giving Tua what they didn't give him last year, was time to pass the ball. So explain to me, why are narratives created when you don't understand the facts and the reality.
But I'm not sure. I was watching certain programming.
But you heard that silly shit last year, right? About Waddle. Oh, he's a 6-yard receiver. Oh, why'd they draft him? They should have drafted Chase. And they would have done the same thing with Chase last year. He would have played the same way last year because he would have had no choice.
Numbers are important here. Numbers and context are important. Last season, Jalen Waddle played 50% of his snaps from the slot. He split 50 in the slot, and I think it was 42 out wide, and whatever the rest is in the backfield or scattered throughout the backfield. This season, 80% out wide, 20% in the slot. You seen the difference? I've seen the difference. It's not the player. It's not, just the player as much as it is how they're being used. 80% of his snaps, it's double the snaps that he saw last year, double the percentage of snaps he saw last season, now outside where he belonged from the jump. He's not a slot receiver. He's not a guy that you just use to move the chains. He's a legitimate downfield threat. He's a guy who can run every route in the tree. And he's a guy who can do God knows what with the ball in his hands, no matter where you put it in his hands. So I think this coaching staff came into this and said, yeah, we don't really have much in the cupboard, but we do have that guy. What did we hear Mike McDaniel talk about for the first week or two, maybe even month after he was hired? I love Jalen Waddle. I would draft Jalen Waddle on my fantasy team. Jalen Waddle's going to be drunk off the yak. Like people don't lie. I think I've said it on the show before, man. NFL coaches, NFL teams, sometimes they tell you exactly what they're thinking. Sometimes they tell you the truth. And if Mike McDaniel drafts Jalen Waddle, so did I. I drafted Jalen Waddle too, man. I laughed. Everybody I'm in an auction league, auction draft, everybody in there bidding on Tyreek Hill, which it's not a horrible idea. I got Jalen Waddle for half the price. I was like, you guys go ahead. I'll be fine over here.
These are this. It's like, but they painted him into this picture. Some people did, like, oh no, he's more of a possession guy. He's not. And it's like, come on, man. Look how limited that offense is. And that's the thing, by the way. Last year made me respect Jalen Waddle even more because he showed you, yeah, of course I'm the explosive guy and all that. But if I need to be the tough guy in the inside and get the tough yardage and help you move the chains and play in small, compact areas, I can do that too. And to me, that was actually something big last year for Jalen Waddle because he showed me he can be a completely different receiver than he was at Alabama. Not that I want him to be that, by the way, okay? I want him on the outside because that's where he belongs with Tyreek. But it's nice to know that you can move him around, and if you need him and to terrorize somebody in the slot, well, then go ahead. You can put him in there because he's comfortable there too. So I like that too.
Yeah, do what is best for this. Do what's best for your offense, man. It doesn't make sense having him, play so exclusively in the slot. Like last year, I think fans can agree it was an unimaginative Dolphins offense. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think this is a highly intelligent offensive coaching staff, and we're seeing the results here on game day.
All right. Last week, you go up against Diggs, Davis, and McKenzie. Tonight, you're going up against Chase, Higgins, and Boyd. So, Mr. Buffalo Bills fan, who's got the better receiving core? Is Miami facing a better receiving core this week or a slightly, because the difference has to be hairs, or is it a slightly less receiving core tonight?
What? Are you nuts? This is the best receiver trio in the NFL. This is better than Buffalo.
I don't know,
better
bro.
than Buffalo.
Okay, no, but I don't know. The Bills Mafia might be mad at you for saying that. I got to make sure.
The Bills don't even have a better 1-2 than the Dolphins. They're not the best 1-2 in the division.
Well, no, the Dolphins have the best 1-2 in the NFL.
So,
you're right?
No,
you would say that,
Isaiah
right?
Yes. Well,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not top three, but top two for sure.
No. Actually, they have the top three. The Cincinnati Bengals have the top
Yeah,
three, probably.
this is, of course, man. All three of these guys have had 1,000-yard receivers or 1,000-yard seasons under their belt.
Yeah,
like they are dangerous. They're dangerous.
Okay.
So no, that's no, man. Like I know they kind of made, Isaiah McKenzie at times look like Tyler Boyd, but he's not Tyler Boyd. Gabe Davis, between Gabe Davis and T. Higgins, push, but T. Higgins has proven he can sustain production, over the course of the season. And then I don't know, Jamar Chase and Stephon Diggs might be a push, man.
Yeah,
I might take Diggs, but it's close enough that I don't think you're going to be chastised either way.
Oh, I would take Diggs over Chase. Oh yeah, of course.
I'd probably take Diggs. Like I said, I'd probably take Diggs, but it's close enough that, again, if somebody said I'm taking Jamar Chase, like you're not going to
right.
choke them out for it.
You're not going to be insulted. I mean? No.
It's not like if somebody's saying, "Oh, I'll take Tyler Boyd over Jalen Waddle," and you're like, "What are you talking about?" But if you say, "Yeah, I'll take Jamar Chase over Stephon Diggs," that's, again, it's close enough that there's no
even though I would take Diggs over Chase, but then there's no doubt the other two are way superior over the other two from the Bills. So that's the difference there overall. So having said that, now the challenge for this defense, is it harder or is it about the same? Because one, you're facing a better receiving core, but I would say this: you were facing a better front with the Bills than you are with the Bengals when it comes to the offensive line and the group protecting Burrow compared to the group protecting Allen. Plus, Allen himself, oh my God, he's an athletic Sasquatch. You have to catch him. You have to try to tackle him. Those things are difficult to do with that guy. Joe Burrow, not difficult to catch, not difficult to tackle, and that front. So how do you compare what Miami is facing tonight compared to what they were facing last week?
Look, man, anytime if you're facing a guy like Josh Allen, if you're facing a guy like Lamar Jackson, there aren't really comparable challenges here. I don't really care who skill players are, what line is playing. It doesn't matter to me, because that singularity makes things difficult. So Josh Allen by himself is a tougher challenge, different challenge, but I think a tougher challenge than going up against the Cincinnati Bengals. Not to say that they're chopped liver, not at all, but I think Buffalo skill players, like, this is a better wide receiver trio, but Josh Allen is so much better of a quarterback, or so much better of a player than anybody they have on their roster here in Cincinnati, that it evens and elevates the Bills' offense over what they've got here. But I mean,
how much does Joe Mixon make a difference? Because he's better than Buffalo's running backs.
He's better than Buffalo's running backs, but Devin Singletary has gotten significantly better during his first 3 years in the NFL. He's not Joe Mixon.
Mixon didn't have a line last year and went 1,200 yards and 12 touchdowns or whatever.
Yeah, he's not Joe Mixon. It makes a difference. It makes a difference. But I think that highly of Josh Allen, and I think that the NFL fans, media probably agrees that Josh Allen is that much of a difference maker, that even though they have better skill players here in Cincinnati, they don't have Josh Allen. Okay. And therefore, it's a different type of challenge. It's a more traditional game.
All right, I know you
catch my drift.
I know you got to go. Give me a prediction, and we will see you in the post-game show.
I've got Dolphins 28-24.
Love it.
Count it.
All right. And follow him on ESPN. I'm sure his pretty face will be on TV today, talking about the marquee Miami Dolphins that he's now on the beat. Marcel, much love. We'll talk to you in a happy post-game show tonight.
See y'all in about 12 hours.
You know it, baby. There you go. We work. Be good. There is Marcel Louis Jacques. Remember, you can get the finest energy drink on the planet in a store. You can get it right to your house. Go to myedgedrink.com and order delicious, smooth, and zero aftertaste Say it with me. This is an energy drink that is delicious, smooth, and has zero aftertaste and only 78 calories. You're going to love it. You're going to remember me forever. And as an elixir, oh my God, it is so good to mix. So good to mix. I love my vodka and my Edge. Woo. I'll have some of that this weekend when I'm off, relaxing. Okay. I'm actually going to sit back and relax with an Edge and vodka and sit back in my backyard that Cutter's Edge redesigned, and with the doggies and the wife hanging out and enjoying a weekend where I can just kick back and relax and just, take it in that the Dolphins are 4-0 after beating the Bengals on Thursday. That's what I'm going to do. But seriously, if you want a great energy drink, go to myedgedrink.com, use our code Big O, and get 10% off. Now you have the edge.
You now have the edge on the Miami Dolphins with the Edge Energy Drink Miami Dolphins Report featuring ESPN's Marcel Louis-Jacques. Get the energy drink that's delicious and smooth with zero aftertaste. You can only order Edge Energy Drink at myedgedrink.com. That's myedgedrink.com.
All right. Yes. What do we have here? Somebody's sending me something here. I don't know. Anyway, what's going on in the crypto market? That's what I'd like to know. What's going on in the crypto market right now? So we had a little bit of a pump, and now a little bit back to 19. It is amazing how it has hung in there strong. I was talking with my wife about this, and you go look at what's going on. The DXY, the dollar, is exploding. Okay, the yen, the pound, the euro, everything is down. I mean, every other dollar in the world is crumbling, and so it looks like there's a lot of those countries are reinvesting their monies into the dollar, and that's helping us, right? But in the end, our dollar is going to cave because we printed too much and everything else. So it's just a matter of time. But my prediction is not only will Bitcoin explode, but I think Bitcoin will actually start moving up faster than I thought it would, because people in Europe, people all over the world are watching the dollar from their country, whether you're in Colombia or you're in Brazil or you're in Russia or you're in Ukraine or wherever your dollar is getting decimated, you are now going to invest in Bitcoin. And the European markets now, there's a boost that's coming in on Bitcoin now, and they're buying Bitcoin. And I just think that when it's all said and done, because of the mismanagements of governments all around the world, because we're not the only country that elects the wrong people in office constantly, okay? They do it in other places, in most places. And that's why most places, their economies are gone to crap. And their dollars are weak as hell. And I'm just saying. So the way I look at it now, this is actually going to fast track the digital currency and the digital market when it's all said and done. So once we get out of this rut all over the world for all kinds of things, that the war is over and that supply chains are back on track and all that kind of stuff, crypto's definitely going to explode. But what's going to fast track it now is the crumbling economies all over the world. And those folks are going to look to reinvest their money somewhere where they won't be losing it like they are in their current country right now. So just something to look at for those of you that are crypto people like I am. It's something that will happen when it's all said and done. All right, let me tell you a little bit about LinkedIn. LinkedIn, for those of you that are small business owners, I want to talk to you here. And if you're trying to build that business up and you need the right people for your team, well, listen, LinkedIn Jobs is here to make it nice and easy for the people you want to talk to faster and for free. Create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network with over 810 million people. Then you can add the job and the purple hashtag frame to your LinkedIn profile so you can spread the word that you're hiring so the network can help you find the right people to hire. Simple tools like screening questions make it nice and easy for you to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. This is why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. And LinkedIn Jobs, by the way, can help you find candidates you want to talk to a lot faster. Did you know every week, folks, nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com, linkedin.com/Big O. That's linkedin.com/Big O to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. All right. Remember, you guys can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo. That is Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show if you want to make it. Tony Zagales, thank you, sir. He just sent in $5 of Bitcoin. Thank you, my friend. Very nice. Appreciate the donation. Through Cash App or Venmo, you can make the donation, and you can also make a Bitcoin donation. And Tony Zagales making a Bitcoin donation on Cash App. Thank you, sir, man. And he says, except Bitcoin will explode, he put. You and I know that, Tony. You and I know that, my friend. That's all right. And then Steve M., always there supporting. Thank you, Steve M. He says, you're right about one thing. Tua is a tough guy. The problem is that his toughness writes checks his body can't cash. It's week 3, and he got injured again. Nah, he's fine, dude. He got. Did you see what happened to him, Steve? Let me see if I can do it from here. I think some of you out there, Steve, I hope you're watching the show right now, and I think you are. I'm going to show you something, okay? Because Justin Herbert, last time I checked, is what's it called? He's also injured with rib injuries, right? And Zach Wilson, hell, he didn't make it out of the preseason, right? Oh, damn it. Let's see. All right, do me a favor, Sean. Go to my Twitter page, and you got to scroll down a little bit. So I guess I don't have the Twitter feed here on it, but you'll scroll down a little bit, and I retweeted a tweet that they sent me that I said Tua is a tough guy, and it's a picture that shows him in the quarterback sneak, how he's getting his body bent backwards. Okay? Because people make it sound like when a 300-pound man falls on your hip while you're running, it's pretty, Bo Jackson dislocated his also. And Tua did, and he was able to come back to play now. You know what I'm saying? He busted up his ankle, but he wrapped it with titanium rods, so he would never have that issue again, or at least protected from that. I want to show you this picture if Sean finds it. And this is why his back was screwed up. And I think some of you, including Steve M., you probably don't know this. But if Zach Wilson didn't even make it out of preseason, and supposedly he'll make his debut this week, which is great because he's just in time to get his ass kicked by Miami next week. But wait till Sean is able to pull up this picture from Tua. And in fact, you know what I can also do? I can actually send it to you from here, from my other one, because I guess I don't have my Twitter connected to this laptop here. That's what I'll do. I'll send it to you here, just in case you can't find it. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. And I got you. There you go. I just sent it to you, Sean. And by the way, thanks to Giovanni Florimond. Thank you, my brother, for sending me that picture. And in the quarterback sneak, I'm going to show you how his back was screwed up in that game and how maybe that nerve did actually, screw him up a little bit in that moment. Walter Olivares says ESPN Justin Herbert is an elite QB. Tua and Hurts are not. Well, I don't know about Hurts, bro, but Tua, Hurts, and Justin Herbert are not elite. So, Walter, anybody on ESPN that calls Justin Herbert elite is a moron. In fact, anybody that calls Justin Herbert elite is a moron. There's nothing about him that's elite yet, except his talent, but he's not an elite quarterback. There's Tua on the quarterback sneak. Look at that bot. Look at that. Look at the back bent. This bastard's bending him. This guy's pulling on his legs, so he can't get any leverage to pull himself out of that position because he's got one guy that's actually pulling on his legs. So how do you get any kind of traction to try to get out of that? That's why his back got all bent up. And I'm sorry, last time I checked, are you going to survive that? Most of us would get all screwed up. Here's what I would tell Mike McDaniel. No more quarterback sneaks for Tua. He's not a big body quarterback, bro. That's his back being bent to hell by really powerful human beings. And this is a guy that's also got a screwed up hip. So please don't tell me that this guy is, soft or whatever. Any human being could easily get their backs tweaked or screwed up by that move right there. There's never any context for Tua, bro. Never. It's just he's short. It's over. He's got a noodle arm. It's over. He doesn't work hard enough. It's over. He's fragile. It's over. No, man, that's just freakish. That's freakish shit that happens to him. And look at the Milano one. He threw the ball. He had no reason to get hit, and Milano still pushes him where he's off balance, and you hit your head on the turf. So no more quarterback sneaks is what I want. That's what I would do. I've had my back bent like that before, much worse, to the point where I had nerve damage in my back. Well, you try an NFL player bending your ass back. Big O is an elite in the broadcasting market. Thank you very much. That's very nice of you. Not true, but I appreciate it. Of course, the trenches is where they fight dirty. It's like WWF wrestling. See, now you're going to piss off Sean now. Now you're calling wrestlers dirty. Why that? Why that, Sean? Why do they got to do that, huh? Why does Rosendo have to call your people dirty there, Sean? That's just wrong on every level.
Listen here, brother.
Oh, is Raekwon plowing? I don't know. I don't know what the hell he's doing there. Ray Sosa says, Zach from 790, the ticket with a Tua doubter, but still believed in Tannehill. Oh, I know Duarte. I know Duarte personally. And I know that he was a Tannehill lover. So he was a Tua. I don't know about Tua. I have no idea if Zach Duarte was a Tua doubter. So Zach Duarte and Channing Crowder are the same guys? All right, so Channing Crowder and Zach Duarte can never talk about quarterbacks ever again. Okay? Because if both guys thought Tannehill could play and Tua can't, that's a kill shot at 3rd and 22 and 4th and 7. That to me is like the nail in the coffin. It's over. Okay? You might know about other things in football, but you don't know quarterbacks. All right? It's a double whammy. We all can be wrong at one or the other, right? You thought Tannehill could play and he couldn't. Okay, fine. You thought Tua can't play, but he can't. Fine. But if you couldn't figure out Tannehill and Tua, and you thought Tannehill was the player and Tua's not, then yeah, no, you're not very good at looking at quarterbacks. So, Channing Crowder might not be a guy I'd take any advice from about quarterbacks. I don't want to hear anything from Channing Crowder about quarterbacks. And so if you tell me Zach Duarte did the same shit, then yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, Zach's a good dude, but don't talk about quarterbacks, my brother. You thought Tannehill was a guy and Tua wasn't? I mean, that's the ultimate indictment. Any of your friends, any media member, anyone that you know said Tannehill can play and Tua can't, that person can never talk about quarterbacks again. That person lost all credibility for quarterbacks. Not anything else. They might get everything else in football right. They might get everything else in sports right. But if you told me Tannehill can play and Tua can't, then I know you know nothing about quarterbacks and you don't understand the position. Let me tell you, it's that simple. I don't care if you played the game or you didn't play the game. If you tell me Tannehill can play and Tua can't, you don't understand the position. It's pretty simple. So anyone that you know has that one combination, that is a major indictment on what they see. Okay? So from now on, if you're there talking with any of them and they want to talk about quarterbacks, you're like, yo, pause. No, buddy. You thought Tannehill could play and Tua can't. You're not allowed to talk about quarterbacks. It's over for you. Okay? So, I don't know, Zach. Much love for you out there. I'm not sure if they're telling the truth about you on that one. I know you had it dead wrong about Tannehill. That I know, and I've laughed at that many, many times over the years at you. Much love, but of course, I laugh at you like everybody else that thought Tannehill could play. You're all blind. But if you thought Tua couldn't, yeah, that's a major indictment, my brother. Leon Fresco says Ingold was a high school QB. No reason he can't do it. That's high school. Doesn't mean he can't do it at this level. Big O, where are you? I'm at Hialeah Park, where I always am every Thursday, my friend. Any word on how Surtain and Madison are doing as secondary coaches? I guess they're doing pretty good. Guys are making plays. Shutting people down in the second half. There's no way I can take someone serious who thinks Tannehill's an elite QB. Well, I don't know about elite, but you know, I don't think I don't know about Zach and his Tannehill Tua thing, but I know about Channing. Channing never really called Tannehill elite, but he thought he was a good quarterback and a franchise quarterback, and I know he wasn't on the Tua bandwagon last year and the year before. So he might be doing it now. Oh, man, we are going to have fun. We have the list. We have the receipts, as they say, on all of you. Whether it's Tannehill or Tua. And by the way, those are the best combinations we have to find. We have to find the specific people that thought Tannehill could play and Tua can't, because those people we're going to have a lot of fun with. Yeah, Sean.
I've forgotten, Chad just mentioned it, but Channing went on Cal Turd and praised Tua last week. He was defending
Yeah, no, I know that he's done that now. I again on Thursdays and Fridays, I go on the road and then I get in the car and sometimes I'll listen to the guys. But I know Channing was not a Tua guy last year and the year before. So yeah, like a lot of people, they're now changing their tune. You know what I'm saying? They're now changing their tune. But I get it. Listen, man, it takes a lot of balls to sit there in the wake of everything going on at Tua and tell people, hey, bro, it's not Tua. It's the line. It's the offensive coordinator. Block for him. He'll be fine. He'll be a Pro Bowler. And they look at you and they laugh at you. That's what happened to me. For 2 years, I had people laughing at me. Yeah, sure. Oh, what's wrong with you, bro? And because so many people were off the bandwagon, that was the whole deal behind it. So, but I get it, man. It's all good. It's all good. But we have the receipts. We know who you are. I know because I heard it for 2 years. So I know who's the ones that aren't on it. So whatever Channing did on Calturn, none of that means anything to me. He just, at least what I give Channing credit is, Channing at least is not a phony in that sense. He'll admit when he's wrong. And so obviously he was wrong and he's changed his tune. The worst part are the people that are still fighting it. You still want to call Greer a bad GM. You still want to call to a bad quarterback or not a franchise. And, I can't help you then at that point. So better late than never. Still, some can't admit they were wrong. And Steve, we still have it. And okay, you know what? It's only 3 games in. But I would imagine when we're 10, 12 games in, if Tua's still playing well, I would imagine they would probably just say, okay, yeah, I was wrong. I'm done already. That's it. Just like what happened with Tannehill. You had people that were on, and finally last year in the playoff game and all those interceptions, they finally, yeah, he's not the guy. It took them 10 plus years, but they finally figured it out. Andrew says Joe Rosencrantz are on Herbert's jock. All of a sudden, they were praising our guy. Yeah, no. The whole morning show, all those guys are wrong. All of them. Great guys. Joe, Zach, Danny. I love Danny, okay? But Danny says all kinds of stupid shit. That's like, he has no business doing any kind of sports talk show. I love Hollywood. Nice guy and all that. No business doing talk shows at all. At all. Okay? I mean, wow. The things he says at times, he doesn't belong anywhere near a mic, to be quite honest. Love you, Hollywood. You're a good dude, but when it comes to sports, your opinion is as whack as it gets. But yeah, all 3 of those guys were wrong on Greer. They were wrong on Tua, and they're wrong on Herbert also. So yeah, they got all of it wrong. They didn't get a goddamn thing right. Yeah. I would hope that they're changing their tune by now. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, good dudes. But yeah, oh my God, did they get everything catastrophically wrong? Wow. Yeah. Most analysts and ex-players with head injuries, so they don't know what they're looking at. The worst is Tannenbaum. Well, I mean, but it's Tannenbaum. He thought Tannehill could play and gave him an extension. Tannenbaum's a nice man. He's not a bad dude. But when it comes to football, he's completely lost, dude. He's one of those guys. He thought Tannehill could play and Tua can't. Think about those people. I mean, really, seriously, if you yourself thought that Tannehill could play and Tua can't, you might as well kind of give up on it all already at this point. Because I don't know how you get anything right from there on out. I don't think Tua ever got a free shake. They forget he could win. The injury and the facts that the Finns gave him no support for 2 seasons, nothing. Everyone forgot tank for Tua. Well, not everybody. Some of us actually saw through all the BS, and we knew Tua wasn't the issue. So, where is Jeff Ireland now? Remember how bad we wanted him gone. He's actually done a marvelous job with New Orleans. Marvelous job with New Orleans. It's it's funny what happened with the Dolphin GMs, especially Spielman and Ireland. They were bad here, but there were a lot of politics involved with their decisions and the people that they were dealing with. And then they both get fired, and then they both go to other places and they do a much better job. Spielman did a much better job in Minnesota than he did in Miami. The only thing Spielman could never solve in Minnesota, what was it? The quarterback position, right? Because Kirk Cousins is a nice quarterback, but he's not really the guy. You know what I'm saying? And then Jeff Ireland has done a magnificent job in New Orleans in helping them out with their drafts too. It's maybe you got him a little young here and then you didn't give him time to grow. The good thing for Chris Greer, he's been here a long time. He's had plenty of time to mature, and so he's ready for this position now. You know? Keep up the disrespect. Is it? Keep up the disrespect. This team loves having a chip on their shoulders. You're right about that. That's the way they've acted. That's for sure. All right, what else do we have going on in the world of sports? You guys see the Kyler Murray thing, and we look at Tua Tagovailoa. I'm going to compare Kyler Murray and Tua Tagovailoa in this sense, and it really has nothing to do necessarily with the playing side of it in football. But Kyler Murray is a young man, and let me tell you, this is so important in today's world that you know how to handle yourself as a leader. And Kyler Murray is a guy that's had some issues with that. Whether it's funny how they talk about Tua's personality when this guy is actually really more aloof and doesn't necessarily connect with people all the time. Well, Kyler Murray is also a guy that will throw his teammates under the bus. And that's something that you would never get from Tua. He would never do that because that's not the right thing to do. You saw Mario Cristobal. Oh, the reporters are asking him about certain players and things going on, and Mario will have none of that, bro. He goes, I'm not here to, throw people under the bus. I'm not going to throw players under the bus. You damn right. Mario knows what the hell he's doing. I get that the game on Saturday didn't look like he knows what the hell he's doing, but I'm talking about handling publicly certain situations, what you do publicly and what you don't. And if you're Mario Cristobal, you don't throw your players under the bus because you're just as to blame as they are. So you can call them out behind the scenes in a meeting room or whatever. Even Mike McDaniel's not going to do that. And the QB and the offense weren't on the same page at times. And so he was asked about it, right? About the receivers and all that and plays that looked a little discombobulated. He said, I told guys, you have to be awake when you play with me. No matter what the play is, I have free reign to do whatever. So when you sleep and you don't think you're getting the ball, you can't play like that. Everybody has to be heads up in the game, locked in. We just have to be better. We will be, but it's frustrating when you lose and you felt like you could have played better in the game. I told guys, you have to be awake when you play with me, no matter what the play is. He goes, I wish I had the right answers now, Murray said. I'm not sure. Besides, let's start winning some football. The rest of the game is competitive. The first quarter, you can't make anything happen. You can't get anything going. It's just bad football. And so you just can't do that and say, well, when you play with me, you got to be ready. And you're assuming that they weren't ready. Or maybe they weren't. But you can't do that, and you can't throw them under the bus publicly like that. And then you start to, well, I have free reign, no matter what the play is called. That's not the attitude I want to see from my quarterback. That's not a leader. That when things aren't going right, you're throwing other people under the bus. What did Tom Brady? They wanted him to kind of specify what was going on last week, and he was like, "It's just poor execution on everybody's part. We just didn't get to play this, that, whatever," and he just wasn't going to throw people under the bus because it doesn't help him. It doesn't help Kyler Murray. That's why Brady doesn't do it. That's why Tua doesn't do it. That's why Mike McDaniel doesn't do it. That's why Mario Cristobal doesn't do it. And I would tell Kyler Murray, kid, I like you. You're a hell of a player. I like Kyler Murray because I think he's a real QB. But his attitude, he needs to dial it back a little bit. That he sounds too entitled. Okay? That's what he sounds like. And a quarterback, in a way, I love the attitude that Mike McDaniel takes as a head coach, that I'm here to serve, a group of individuals and help them. And so it's not so much of the idea that you work for me and you work for me and you work for me and you do this and you do this and shut up and look forward and take your order. No. It's how can we make this better? What do I need to do also to help you? Not what you need to do for me. And that's kind of what has to happen with a quarterback, with the head coach, with whatever it is as a leader, a CEO, a manager. Those of you out there, I'm sure you're in leadership positions in your job. And it just can't be about giving orders. It also has to be about listening and reaching people and meeting them halfway. And Kyler Murray, young man, you got some growing to do. You got some growing to do. Do we we send Alan Poopar? I sent Alan Poopar a message. What do you have there? What's going on? Where's the Poopart man? Where's the Poopart man? Do me a favor, Sean, because I haven't taken many breaks at all in an hour and a half. Let me take a 2-minute break here, rest my voice. Do have a long night. We have a pre and post game show tonight. So give me 2 minutes here. We'll be right back from Hialeah Park.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them.
With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation.
Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Dolphins fans, time to get insight on your favorite team with your favorite reporter with an Expos hat. Sports Illustrated's Alan Poupart in our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report, exclusively on a Big O radio show.
All right, there he is. How you feeling, my man? You feeling good?
I'm doing very well. How about yourself? Sound very, very loud and busy over there.
Let me put this here because I'll be able to hear you a lot better. All right, there we go. All right. You are rocked. There we go. No glasses and everything. Okay. All right. You're really letting it loose right now.
Just wait till I let all my hair down.
I don't think there was any doubt in Tua playing. Dude, did you see that picture on the quarterback sneak?
The one where the Buffalo guy is kind of like
bending his ass back?
Yeah.
That one?
Yeah. Yeah, there were a lot of dirty plays both sides in that game. It was.
I'm gonna go more on the Buffalo side than Miami side.
No, shocker.
I mean, the Tua hit was dirty. The hit on the Milano hit. He had passed the ball already.
A late shove. It was. I mean, it was
a late shove. There was no reason to shove him.
No, correct. But I've seen more egregious stuff. It was okay. The play that you just illustrated is a lot dirtier than what Milano did.
And the Chase hit.
The Chase
on the 2-yard line, and then he punched it in after that.
Oh yeah. Oh, and they got flagged for him.
Right, I'm saying the bastards were dirty.
But again, it works both ways. Hey, tell me, Big O, if we're going to be honest, and this is where I go journalist and not fan. If we're going to be honest, yeah, those deserve to be flagged. Christian Wilkins had a borderline high hit from the side on Dawson Knox on one play. And somebody sent a video one time of Melvin Ingram pass rushing, and he's tangled with the offensive lineman, and right after Allen threw the ball, he kicked him with his left leg.
Okay, that's dirty.
Yeah, no,
and Allen ripping off the helmet too of Wilkins.
Correct. For which he'll get fined, and Wilkins will get fined if the NFL finds video of Allen's allegation that Wilkins was messing with his junk.
Oh, they never do that. They never bust anybody with that stuff.
Because they can never find the video. I looked at that replay like 8 times and I couldn't see it. But Allen said it, and it's like, and there was, if you remember the shot of Wilkins from college, that somebody like resurfaced yesterday, where I mean it was flagrant out in the open after the play, and he's literally reaching out and grabbing that from behind, and I was like, "What are you doing?" So anyway, yes, there was a lot of cheap plays, but doesn't matter. Dolphins won.
I'm with you. That's the beauty of it. Now, what do you say about the defense? Because while a lot of people are talking about the points and the yards they've given up, but they find a way to clamp down at the end. And we were talking about this 2 days ago on the show, and the stats are amazing. The first half, they've allowed 59 points. The second half, the Dolphins have allowed 18 points in the 3 games. And in the first quarter, in the 3 games, they've allowed 17 points. Their bugaboo is the second quarter, 42. And then in the third quarter, they've only allowed 13 points. And in the fourth quarter, they've only allowed 5 points. It's amazing how, while they've given up all those yards, they find a way in the fourth quarter, 0, 3, and 2. That's what they've allowed in those 3 fourth quarters so far this year. So, and this kind of been their MO, that they find a way that they bend, but they really don't end up breaking. How impressive is that? Because we keep saying it's a gamble, but they keep doing it year in and year out.
Well, I have 2 thoughts here. One good and one not so necessarily positive. I'll start with the bad one, so I can finish on a high note. Is that with this Buffalo game, to me, I want to give Dolphins credit for coming up with the big plays when they had to. Mm-hmm. I'm also looking at Buffalo leaving points on the field that had nothing to do with what the Dolphin defense did. For example, Josh Allen flubbing the snap at the end of the first half to prevent him from being able to spike to set up the field goal. That's 3 points right there. The fourth down pass, which I think both you and I can agree was just horrible technique by Josh Allen, more so than anything the Dolphins defense did. That's 7 points right there. And then the field goal that was missed in the
Yeah, but I don't that if game that's what the Dolphins.
The problem is those if issues are not always going to work on the Dolphins' favor. That's the point. If we want to throw roses and just play the results from that game, that's great. We're talking big picture here. Is it not what we're doing? Because yes, everything worked out great Sunday, so there's no point in discussing it. The defense was awesome. They did nothing wrong. It was beautiful.
Don't get so flustered and start destroying your whole room there. Relax there. Take it easy. Jesus Christ.
I'm not flustered, but it's like if we can't have this conversation of like this is not always going to pan out like this. So the point I'm making is the Buffalo left points on the table, and then the field goal that was missed early in the fourth quarter. Turns out Agba got a piece of it. The NFL has changed the ruling, the stat ruling to a block for Agba. By the way, funny note, which actually Thomas More said might not find funny, is they changed the ruling of a block punt on the butt punt to a 0-yard punt because it hit his own player. And I don't know the structure of Thomas Morstead's contract, but if he's got incentives for, I don't know, leading the league or reaching a certain average, I mean, his average on Sunday, this is how great he was. His average, even with the butt punt with 0 yards, was still 43 yards. Without it, it was like 54.
Right.
So if I'm Thomas Morstead and I have an incentive in my contract about leading the NFL in punting and I wind up missing by 3 yards because of the butt punt, I would be very pissed. Going back to the defense, and now the thing that where they deserve a lot of credit for, and this is sustainable as opposed to offensive failures, is the fact that they adjusted some of the things they did. For example, on that goal line stand, unlike the first quarter when they threw a blitz at Josh Allen and it left guys wide open, if you notice, especially on the third down pass, Josh Allen had all day to throw. He just couldn't find anybody open.
Right.
Because they dropped back. So props to Josh Boyer for making that adjustment. So, yeah, there's something to be said for what the Dolphins have done in adjusting defensively. They're still giving up too many yards for my taste, but, yes, they have done a good job situationally.
By the way, the chat board wants to remind you, only the Bills left points on the field. Didn't X leave a pick six?
It's a pick. It wasn't we're going to go there. Yes, no, the Dolphins left 85 points on the field. I think let's make everybody happy.
Listen, it's about execution in the end, and the Dolphins executed better than the Bills. And by the way, I got to tell you, Alan, your argument carries very little weight because apparently Josh Allen and the Bills suck at tight games. So apparently this is the norm for them. The norm is not that things will happen and that Josh Allen will make the right play. The norm is he'll short one. He'll miss a guy. Why? Because he's terrible in games inside 6 points. What are they? 1-7, 0-7? What was that record that came out after that?
It's 1-7, and the norm is, if you want to play the norm game, the norm is you get outgained by 285 yards, you lose. That's the norm.
They got outgained the week before by Baltimore.
By 285 yards.
No, I get that. I get that, but that's because you put together 2 drives of, 20 plays and 17 plays or something like that.
You still did that. I mean.
Yeah, but you still have to finish those drives, and they didn't finish. Yeah, you know what this sounds like to me? You're reversing what I did to the fans and to my man Mike McCoy 2 weeks ago. They're saying, "Well, no, but the Canes moved the ball on Texas A&M," and I'm like, "Yeah, did they score? I don't care if you move the ball. I don't care if you put up a whole bunch of yards.
300 yards.
Did you execute? Did you finish drives with touchdowns? Oh, no, you settle for field goals? Well, that's great. That's what happens with Sperano. Way to go. That doesn't help you out. And so I'm slamming the Bills for the same thing I slammed the Canes for. Your stats don't mean shit to me if you can't put the points on the board. Just like Lamar Jackson. You had a great, 2.5 quarters or something because you only scored 7 points in the third quarter, and it was that one run. But when they needed you the most, and that offense, you failed. You got all your points and front running in the first half. Show me what you do when it counts. Execute when it counts.
Right.
And that's my only point out of all of this. Okay? I'm going to pick on the Canes for not executing and missing and screwing up, and I'm going to give the Dolphins a ton of love for executing, even if they bent backwards and they gave up a bunch of yards and points. When push came to shove, they did the shoving, and that's what I like.
They won the game. Okay, let me ask you this: did the Dolphins win the game more, or did the Bills lose the game?
No, the Dolphins won the game.
Okay.
Dolphins won the game. That's the way you have to look at it that way. You can't say it.
If you're a Dolphin fan, absolutely. If you're being objective,
you've been covering a team for the last 25 years. How many games have the Dolphins given away by this definition? How many games have they given away?
A lot.
Tons. Right.
Correct.
Because you're not good enough. It's not that you're giving it away. It's just you're not good enough that day to execute and get it done. And in that game, when everything had to be done and you had to make plays, Tua and company made plays, and the defense made plays. Just like in the Baltimore game, the defense stepped up and kept stopping the Ravens and handing the ball off to the offense, and the offense kept scoring. I mean, I got to give teams credit when they perform in the clutch, Alan. Don't you?
Of course. Of course. I'm not debating that. I am debating that, to me, that game was more lost by Buffalo than it was won by the Dolphins. But the bottom line, I have no idea why it's so important to you that all the credit goes to the Dolphins. They won the game. That's the bottom line.
You want to know why?
Because I'm thinking big picture. In a game like this, the same scenario, it's not going to work out as well for the Dolphins as it did on Sunday more often than not, and that's not sustainable. And if we want to see the Dolphins succeed as much as they potentially can with what they have as a very, very good team, I think they're going to have to be better than they were Sunday, even though they won the game.
Dude,
Why is that difficult to understand?
Dude, they played the best team in the NFL practically. I mean, they did a great job overall. See, the reason why you and I are differing on this is because I've watched the Dolphin team for years.
And I haven't?
Well, wait a minute. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Bad coaching, terrible decisions, lack of preparation. The talent is mediocre, constantly carried by one side of the ball, the defense, because really for 25 years, it's mostly the defense that has to bail you out every time. So now all of a sudden, you got a coach that's got balls, that can out coach other people, can scheme. You've got a defense that can bail you out, and you've got an offense that can bail you out. And in these 3 weeks, I've watched them shut down the Patriots. They weren't even a threat in that game at any point. Then go down big time to the Baltimore Ravens on the road to come back, and then play the best team in the NFL in a knockdown, drag-out, physical war, and they outlast them and find plays to win. I'm watching a completely different team than what we have watched for 25 years. And so that's why I think that right now, and I know it's only 3 games, so I'm getting ahead of myself, yada, 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 I get that. But I have to give praise when I see so many characteristics I never saw from the Dolphins in the last 25 years. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay.
That's it.
And I tend to be more grounded. That's all.
Okay. All right. Well, you know me. I'm not grounded whatsoever.
No.
I live in the clouds. That's just me. I live in the clouds. All right. Prediction today. What do you got? I took it yesterday +4. As it went back down to 3.5. Apparently, Vegas got surprised that Tua is playing today.
Bro, I know you were saying that, but the truth is, we don't know. We're not behind the scenes. I mean, he could have been, by all indications were that he was going to be okay, but the bottom line is we don't know.
Guy played with fractured ribs and a fractured finger in his throwing hand last year.
Yeah, and look how he was after he got hit. You don't know. He could have woken up this morning and been like not be able to get out of bed.
Thanks to Barstool, we know he's just fine.
There you go. No, it trended fine all along. That I agree with you, but I don't know that it was a slam dunk.
Right.
Like you're making it sound.
By the way, can I ask this?
Go ahead.
Because none of the legitimate outlets like you and Harold and all, none of you covered the Barstool story. Are you doing that out of professionalism and respect to the Dolphins? Is that what it is? Because none of you, I don't think I saw it on any of the legitimate outlets.
Because I have, there are two reasons for me. Is number one, I'm literally going to have about 8 stories on the site before the game even kicks off tonight, and there's so many things I can write, and there's so much time I have. That's number one. Number two, it sounds like a lot bigger deal than I think it actually is. Are we really thinking for a millisecond that Mike McDaniel was like running the first 15 plays? He's got scripted for the game during that.
No. I don't think it's going to create any kind of advantage. But I wanted to ask you because I found it very interesting that the legitimate outlets did not carry it at all, did not even put it out there, because it is a little bit of a story because they did reach out to Barstool and say, hey, can you take it down? And Barstool basically stuck their middle finger out, which is, what did you expect from them, dude? They don't care. Although I will say this, somebody brought up in one of those threads something very interesting. Portnoy just started a gambling app. So if your company is running a gambling app, what are you doing putting out material of another team that could be used as some kind of, you don't know, maybe an advantage? I don't know. You know what I mean? So that I thought that was a very interesting point that somebody brought up. But I just found it intriguing that none of you, ESPN, Herald, Sentinel, nobody gave that story 3 seconds of airtime.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for the other outlets. For me, it was like I said, I basically haven't stopped the past 2 days.
Okay.
At some point, it's like, and I don't. If the Dolphins win or lose tonight, it's not going to be because of what happened. I'm told also that stadium basically is
Nippert.
The students are walking through there like all the time, so anybody could have seen it. The Dolphins chose to practice there. I'm sure they had other options. I don't know. Now I saw a report where the NFL might be looking into it. If something comes of it, obviously I'll jump on the story. As it stands right now, I don't know.
Right.
I was more concerned about revisiting the 2021 draft and the Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle dynamic, which to me was a lot more interesting.
Oh, you remember the idiots last year? Oh, they got the wrong guy. Look at him. He's getting all the big yardage. Jalen Waddle's a possession player. Don't take into account that they can't block for the kid. There's no time for a play to develop downfield. Forget about that. That's the reason why Waddle is Waddle. And now look at him now. The narratives that develop are just absolutely baffling, bro.
No, but it's one of those cases like it worked out fabulously for both sides because, I mean, Jamar Chase is a hell of a player. And Waddle's a complete baller too. So
yeah, exactly.
Worked out great. So anyway, going back to your original question, look, there's some mojo about this team.
Are you cooking white rice or brown rice? What was that bell for?
That was a message, actually.
Okay, all right. No, I thought that was the rice cooker that is ready or something.
Ding! Not breaking news. What was I going to say? No, that there's a mojo with this team. That if they wind up winning tonight, despite circumstances not being in their favor, it wouldn't shock me. I mean, the polar opposite of the circumstances were in their favor against Buffalo. They're completely against their favor for this particular game, and it's just a tough ask to come back on the road after a very physically demanding game against Buffalo, which was a big game for them. I think they're going to keep it close. I think they're going to be big plays on offense on both sides. I see a high-scoring game. I think Bengals win. But like I said, wouldn't surprise me in the least if the Dolphins pulled it out.
All right, there you go. So but you wouldn't be surprised, or are they pulling it out?
No, I picked the Bengals.
Okay. All right. There you go. All right. Dolphins are going to win this, by the way.
All right, there you go.
They're going to win this, just so you know. Well, will Eli Apple get burned by Tyreek Hill today?
Not sure he's ever going to be one-on-one against him, though. That's the thing.
Okay.
No, and here's the other thing too is like I know I saw like a whole lot being made of Tua saying if he's their matchup one-on-one, I'm gonna throw it to him. I'm thinking if anybody matches up Tyreek one-on-one, Tua's going to him. I mean, seriously, you know,
Right.
It's
right.
not just that it's Eli Apple.
Right. I'm with you there. Yeah. You throw him one-on-one with anybody in the damn league. I'm with you there. All right. Follow him on Twitter at Poupart NFL. Catch his exceptional work there at Sports Illustrated, even if he just doesn't give the Dolphins enough credit for monster win after monster win to open up the season. But follow him there. And remember, you are not an official Dolphins fan if you don't bookmark alldolphins.com there and straighten out Alan in the process. Alan, enjoy the game. We will see you on Monday, my friend. Thank you.
Sounds good. Have a good weekend.
You got it. Yes. We will have a great weekend. No Dolphins on Sunday. No Canes on Saturday. I get to relax on the weekend, dude. It is so good. That is Alan Poupart.
You've been listening to the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins Report with Sports Illustrated's Alan Poupart. For additions, home remodeling, and custom work, call Eric at 305-433-4843. EJDconstruction.com is your custom home builder and general contractor you can trust. 305-433-4843.
Right. Thank you all, as always, for tuning in. Let me switch this, because I always got to switch this so I can hear myself. It's one of those things, once you've done radio for a long time, you kind of want to hear yourself. And then that way you kind of know that everything is kosher, as they say. Michael says he literally looked visibly annoyed. Bengals are going to lose, I'm thinking, by 3 TDs. That's you got them winning big. Chase was taken before our pick anyhow. Why are they even? Well, because you traded out, that you could have picked them without trading down and then trading back up and all that. That's why. That's why they look at it that way. I heard we're wearing all aqua. I don't know if they're wearing all aqua or not. I know the Bengals are wearing that white helmet. That's cool. Imagine if this is a tight game and Tua throws 8 TDs to win. Would he be MVP frontrunner if that happens? 8 TDs? No, you know what they would say? He got lucky. He threw 8 TDs. That's what they would say. He got lucky. Oh, man. Should be fun. If we wear all aqua, no chance. Bengals win. Well, this is a different time. Stop living in the past. I've told you all this before. Stop thinking of that. That's what I was trying to tell. That's what I was trying to tell Poupart right now. That's exactly what I was talking about right there. He's, living on what the Bills could have done to win that game. I can sit there in every NFL game that was tight and say what the other team could have done to win that game that day. That's part of executing. And then when I look at this Dolphins team in the first 3 weeks, the way they've played, the way they've come back, the way they've competed, the way they've come up with huge plays, the quarterback has thrown kill shots. The head coach will make gutsy calls. Josh Boyer's done a good job on the defensive side. I mean, there's a lot of things to like about this team. And they don't remind me of any of the teams that I've watched in recent pasts. There's more balance here than I've seen in a long, long time. And we'll see. Maybe down the line, others will see what I see. But to me, this is a pretty damn good team all the way around. And they have never had an offense in the last 25 years that can bail them out. they now have an offense that can bail them out of a situation. They've never had that since Marino. And even the back end of Marino was very difficult because of all the limitations that Jimmy put on it. All the dumb decisions he did on offense. Because, they only remember the defensive decisions with Jimmy. I always love the what's that called? The selective memory that people want to choose to have with Jimmy and the Dolphins. It's freaking hilarious. Corey Stanton says, why is the NFL trying to rail the Dolphins for concussion if there's an independent arbiter in the room? Corey, they're not trying to rail the Dolphins. What they're trying to do is cover their ass, my brother. That's all. They're not going after the Dolphins. They want to make sure that the independent doctor did the right thing. They just want to make sure because the optics were terrible. And that's what you have to admit, Corey. It looks like he had a head injury. It doesn't look like a back. Now, after you start seeing all the evidence, the twisted up person, all that, and any of us that have had back issues and, whatever nerve or whatever, man, it can weaken you. It usually makes you stay in a chair or in a bed if you got real back problems. So if you're walking and then there's some kind of nerve or something that gets twisted up, I can see where you can get a little, but then he also grabs his head. He doesn't grab his back. So, Corey, you have to admit, the optics all said, none of it said back. As time goes on, maybe you can say, oh, you know what? Maybe it was back. And so they have to cover their ass, my friend. That's what they're doing. It's a smart move. And listen, everybody does it in every corporation in America, man. Have you watched the weathermen now out and weather women out on the hurricanes? What's different now than there were a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago? Anything different when you watch them out there in the middle of that 100-mile-an-hour wind? What do you see? There's a helmet. Why do you think there's a helmet now by all of them? Because, of course, there's debris that flies all over the place. We just saw Cantori yesterday get tripped up by a branch. You saw a branch that went by like 60 miles an hour and it ran right into him. And, whoa. Yeah, I think I better go inside now. Yeah, Jim. Yeah, you may want to go inside, dude. How are you going to dodge anything that's flying at 50, 70, 100 miles an hour? So they're all wearing helmets. Why? Because I'm sure somewhere corporate America said, weather people, you need to wear helmets because then we're sending you out there. You're getting injured, you're getting clocked in the head, and you're suing us because you're in a coma. It's what it's all about, covering your ass. And that's all the NFL is doing. They want to make sure that everything was done right. And I'm pretty sure it was. You know why? If it's an independent doctor, that's their medical license on the line. So I'm sure they did it right. And it's not like, hey, 2 fingers? Yeah, go ahead, go inside. Let's go. No, I doubt it. DJ Gallagher, what's up, my brother? I'm surprised I don't see you here at Hialeah Park. Big O, thank you for the super chat, by the way, DJ Gallagher. A lot was made of the sun and Miami's home advantage and how unfair it was. Isn't it much more unfair to have 2 plays and only 4 days and sun? That, to me, is truly almost stacking the deck versus Miami. Hey, by the way, down 21 points in Baltimore, that's stacking the deck. Find a way to win, man. That's what I love about this team so far from what I've seen. I got to give them a lot of love. This is not like the Dolphins teams we've seen the last 25 years. Mecca Film says, I feel like he did get a bit dizzy from hitting his head, but not bad enough to sit out. But his back was probably a contributing factor that made him stumble. But he did hit his head. Facts. Yeah. The optics are there. What you saw, looked a little disturbing. Oh, Allen was like the Hulk in Infinity War. He was getting mad, but couldn't quite get to the point of full Hulkness. Yeah, dude, he was starting to destroy his room there. I had to like back away from the conversation. The poor man was probably putting a bat through his TV. Michael Gurr says, "Holy cow! I should get inside. There's a hurricane out there." Yeah. Jacob says, "Bengals are going to go out there looking like zebra cakes with those helmets and unis. Wilkins and company are hungry." Big O, who was spying on us? I don't know if it was some intern or some reporter or something from Barstool Sports, and they were filming the walkthrough that the Dolphins were having yesterday, and then they went and put it on social media, and it went viral. Obviously, Dolphins did reach out to Barstool, and Barstool, they said, "Hey, can you take it down?" And Barstool basically told them to go F themselves. And Portnoy and everything was having fun with it. He was retweeting although it was uncool that they put the person's name and phone number from the Dolphins media relations firm that was on there. That wasn't professional. But again, Barstool doesn't care about being professional or anything, dude. They're there to screw around and have fun and crack jokes and screw people over, I guess. You know what I mean? They don't care. They don't care. So I wasn't surprised that they didn't take it down. I wasn't surprised that they acted this way. And I'm certainly not surprised that they don't care about, in the end, what the Dolphins think or anything like that. By the way, isn't Portnoy a Patriots guy? Or is he a Brady guy? I'm confused because there are those people. There are people that are just Brady people, not really Bucks. So they follow him from New England to Tampa. So kind of like LeBron. There are people that obviously are Cavs fans, but you have your people that are like LeBron fans. So they root for him wherever he goes, Miami, Cleveland, the Lakers, it doesn't matter. To a train tonight. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sean, do you have the Russell Wilson video there for me? If you can pull it up. You got it in, I don't know if you have it there in your email, but pull it up for me. And I'll get to it in a second here. Joey Bosa to have surgery on the groin. And so he looks like he's out for several weeks. Let me tell you something. We all know that the Bosas are awesome players, and so are the Watts. Just out of curiosity, because there's over 500 people right now on the chat board. Tell me something. Okay, so do you want Watt or Bosa, right? Or would you want, I don't know, any other really good defensive end that you can think of, from, I don't know, an Agba or like a good defensive end that is out there in every game. And maybe not as good as Bosa or Watt can be, because Watt obviously, I think, was number one in sacks in the NFL the last 3 or 4 years. TJ is what I'm talking about. He's out for the year. And, JJ was a hell of a player too when he played. So I'm wondering if you can get, let's say, if you can get a guy that is 80% as good as Bosa or Watt. Okay, listen to me. If you can get a guy that's 80% as good as Bosa or Watt, because Bosa and Watt are special. We all know that. They're monsters. But this guy's only 80%. So that means he's really good, but he's not like great. But he's going to play the whole season every year. Maybe miss a game. Okay? Who would you take? Because that's the thing that when I look at those two guys, both the families, the Watts and the Bosas, they're always injured. They're always injured. They're always breaking down. And this is what TJ's first big injury, but you almost feel like he's headed down the same path of his brother, just like the two sons follow the dad. in the Bosa side. Two exceptional players, but man, dude, they are unreliable. I think some of you are thinking that I was going to make you pick between one or the other. No. Not Bosa or Watt. I'm saying get me somebody that's 80% of those guys, and they're going to play every year. Who would you take? Would you take the 80% guy, or would you take the Bosa Watt, one of those guys instead? I'd take the 80% guy. I would be very frustrated paying Bosa and Watt the kind of money you got to pay them, and you know they're going to miss a bunch of games. That would be a problem for me. As good as those guys are, man, do they miss games. Man, does those families miss games. Crazy stuff. All right, you got that there, Sean, ready to go? So Russell Wilson was at the podium, and he was asked about the offense, because the offense has kind of struggled a little bit there, right? And in the middle of the question of asking him about, the offense and all that kind of stuff, and then the punter wasn't doing well either. So they asked him, somebody made a comment, and it was Eli Manning, that they should have paid the punter $250 million. So they asked Russell Wilson about, and this is how the story goes. So during the Sunday night game, Eli Manning on the Manning cast made a joke at Russell Wilson's expense by saying the team should have paid the punter $250 million instead of Wilson. And it was a funny quip and a good burn, considering how Russell Wilson in the offense is struggling to start out the season, although currently they're playing winning football with a 2-1 record. However, Russell didn't just shoot back. He brought some stats with him. So here's Russell Wilson talking about Eli Manning's comments.
You know my Chad Powers? Yeah, Chad Powers, I'm 3-0 against Chad Powers. Listen, I think that, it's part of the game, man. We just got to have fun, and everything else. I have a lot of respect for Peyton and Eli and those guys, because I've always looked up to those guys. So I'm not stressed about it.
So, and Chad Powers, for those of you that haven't seen it, Eli Manning dressed himself up, makeup and all that, changed his face, went to Penn State. The Penn State coach knew about it, but he went in as a walk-on, because apparently Penn State has this thing about walk-ons and all that. And so the assistant coaches that were there started to get impressed with Mr. Powers and said, hey, maybe we should sign that guy. And so the whole thing, Chad Powers, then, he took off the makeup and all that. And then they found out it was Eli Manning. And so the rest is history. So Russell then uses, Chad Powers? Yeah, I'm 3-0 against Chad Powers. He threw out the matchup. For those of you that think that these guys don't know, they know. They know. They know. 2-0s. He doesn't follow all the little things, but they keep him updated on some of the crap that does go on. You can bet your life on that. RedRecover.com, by the way, proud sponsor of our program. We love RedRecover.com. Hayden Hurst, tight end for the Bengals, uses RedRecover.com. I'm hoping he doesn't use it before the game today, so, he doesn't perform at his best, because a lot of people use Red Recover Red Light Therapy, whether they've got a bad shoulder, a back, neck, knees, ankles, maybe some tennis elbow, and they use it before and after their workouts to optimize their workouts. If you have old injuries, Red Recover's Red Light Therapy can help you alleviate that pain. It gets the blood flow going. So it really, Sean Stanley, he's got the wrap for his knees, and he uses that because his knees are bone on bone. So even bone on bone, it can help alleviate, some of that pain and discomfort. So check it out. Go to the website, redrecover.com. Check out the video blogs. In fact, Hayden Hurst, the tight end you see right there next to me from the Bengals, he's got a video blog there also talking about Red Recovery. And check out the red light therapy. I'm telling you, even if you have a scar, you just had an injury or an operation and you want that scar to heal and disappear, red light therapy can help you do that. I use it for my hair, to grow back my hair. And for those of you, if your hair is thinning and you recently started to lose your hair, if it's been dead for years and years and years, it might work. I'm telling you, it might work, but it's a little bit, it's a little harder for it to work. I tell you, because while I've got hair growing back here in the middle in my natural yarmulke, and it's slowly but surely disappearing, here it has not returned. And why? This has been dead for years and years and years. So it has not been able to revitalize. Now, that's not to say that it may not happen to you. It could. You never know. But at least this part, since it recently happened, I've been able to save some of it. And that's been really good for me. So maybe you can do it for you. Go to redrecover.com. Use our code, Big O. You will get 10% off. They're incredibly affordable, these wraps. And they're great for the kids. They're great for adults. And they're great for your dogs, too. They have the hip issues. You can put the wraps on the hips. And it can help them as they age, too, at the same time, and alleviate their pain, and maybe they can move around a little bit more and play with you and things like that. redrecover.com. Use our code Big O and get 10% off. Is Tua doing Red Recovery for his back right now? Yep, we're straightening it out for his back. I'm joking. I have no idea what Tua's doing, but Red Recover would help out for that back. Mecca says Boses have longer upper torsos, allowing them to be flexible and bending around the edge. Watts are just straight up muscles and power, which over time will take more of a beating. Either way, they both break down like mothers, bro. Okay? Either way, they're built like Pintos. All right? They break down. They are special. Special. Man. Is Chad Powers related to Austin? Guy has a laser of an arm. Get it? No? A little corny? Francisco says big teams always win close games, right? Bills and Dolphins, last 12 games, by no more than 7 points. Miami, 7 wins and 5 losses. Buffalo, 4 wins and 8 losses, all the way back to 2020. Only problem with that, Francisco, is that I would not put or lump the Dolphins teams from the last few years with this Dolphins team. This is a different Dolphins team, a much better Dolphins team. I get it. I'm jumping the gun, and I get it. I'm getting ahead of myself. All that good stuff. I know. I hear it all the damn time. 855-912-1056 if you want to get in on the Welton Rayom text line. That's 855-912-1056. Boys got a pressure today. Listen, Miami's 24th in sacks. Dallas and Pittsburgh got really healthy in sacks overall against the Bengals. The Dallas Cowboys have 13 sacks on the season. They got 6 of them against the Bengals. Pittsburgh is ranked 8th in the NFL in sacks. They've got 9. They got 7 of them against Cincinnati. Miami has 6 sacks and number 24. Today, you got to get at least 4 sacks. You got to go out there and you got to hit this kid. And Joe is holding on to the ball. So he's giving you an opportunity to get to him right away. And Miami's got to just find a way to make him uncomfortable. Bengals are going to be desperate. They don't want to fall to 1-3. There's no doubt about that. But Miami's got to find a way to make plays like they have these last couple of weeks. And I would argue with you that they're facing lesser teams a lesser team in the last 3 weeks in the Bengals. I think the Ravens are more complete. Bengals obviously have the much better quarterback. But the Bengals overall, they don't have that defense. They don't have the history, the winning history that the Baltimore Ravens have. They have 1 year of producing. And you don't even know if that was just an aberration. And that line is still not, no matter how much money they spent on that line, it has not worked out. And I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know if they got the wrong players. I have no idea. But I could argue that Miami has faced better challenges the last 2 weeks than the Bengals. So they gotta get after Burrow tonight. They gotta knock him around, make him uncomfortable, force him into mistakes, force him into turnovers. And if your ex, I don't know if they're going to do this, but shadow Jamar Chase like you've done before now with other receivers. And then we'll see what Nick Needham and Kohu and Crossan and all these guys can do against the rest of that wide receiving corps, because they got one hell of a wide receiving corps. Man, listen, will Miami face two better wide receiving corps in back-to-back weeks than Stephon Diggs, Greg Davis, Isaiah McKenzie, and now Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd? Holy crap, dude. That's two wicked-ass wide receiving corps that Miami is facing. Hell of a challenge, man. I really thought the Bengals O-line got stronger. I thought they would too with the additions, but they have not played that way. And again, not all on them, because Burrow has hung on to the ball way too much. But hey, listen, Joe, today's a great day to continue to hang on to the ball. Give Jalen Phillips and Emmanuel Ogbah and Christian Wilkins an opportunity to get there and knock you out. Okay? I don't wish any injury on the guy, but if that's what you're going to do, and I don't like Tua when he does that. He did that a couple of weeks back, and we were critical of it. He's got to understand the play is over. Let it go. Throw it away. Take the sack. Whatever you got to do, but come on, man. Come on. Big O, I saw on YouTube Classic Sports that they do a 20-minute recap of NFL games. Saw the Bengals versus Dolphins in 95. Marino had a game-winning drive. Epic. Vintage NFL is truly a blessing. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Big O, thoughts on Coolio passing. The gangster's paradise. It's and when I think Coolio, I think Ed Kaplan. You know that? Because Ed Kaplan used to play Gangster's Paradise on a consistent basis. Every night, it was one of his rejoiners. You can bet your ass he was coming back from one of the breaks with Gangster's Paradise. That's I always think of Ed Kaplan. It's funny, right? Some of you youngins, you have no idea who I'm even talking about right now. But Ed was a fantastic talk show host we had here for a long, long time. One of the guys that I idolized, one of the people that, motivated me to get into this business. Ed Kaplan was just awesome. And he would be up, he would do nights. He would come on at 10 o'clock and he'd stay to the last West Coast score. So whenever that last West Coast game ended, if it was 2:30 or 3 or 3:30 in the morning, he'd continue. There were games where he'd go into the 3 or 4 o'clock hour because the baseball game was into extra innings or whatever, and he'd stay up, dude. Be amazing, really. And Ed Kaplan, in his show, one of the things that was money was Gangster's Paradise. Okay? And Coolio, obviously, throughout the years, it wasn't like he developed this incredible catalog. You know what I'm saying? But Gangster's Paradise itself is one of those iconic songs. And, of course, Michelle Pfeiffer and the movie. And, well, in the video, isn't he? I think he's right. In the video, he's singing to Michelle Pfeiffer. right? Dangerous Minds, was it called that? I think. Yeah. It's and then throughout the years, he always kept his signature little dreads, even though he was also balding himself. But he still hung on to a few of them, and he'd pop them out of his hat and all that. Hell, I just saw Coolio. Was it last week on Jimmy Kimmel? They had one of those contests for it's not cannonball, but what's it when you dive out on your chest and stomach and all that? What is that called, man? Damn it. What is that called? You guys know? Somebody to help me out. Well, whatever it is.
Belly flop.
Yes?
Belly flop.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, say it again.
Belly flop.
Belly flop. That's it. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So, yeah, the belly flop. So they had, he was there, and he was, giving the 1 through 10 score for the belly flops. In fact, I remember a girl won the belly flop contest. And you know who was also on that panel? I don't know if Jimmy, she's an actress probably. She's really not his aunt. But the one that plays his aunt, she's funny, dude. She is funny. Jimmy Kimmel does a really good job. Death diving, that's what it's also called. Not just belly flopping, it's called death diving. Damn. Kumaro for the Bills looked like he will miss some time too after Sunday. Well, man, like son, like father, right? Although his father really wasn't an injury-prone guy. Eric Kumaro just was terrible, right? I think that's what it was. Eric Kumaro wasn't an injury-prone guy. He was just terrible. That was just like a really terrible pick by Shoes, unfortunately. Big O, Stephen A. Actually, the only one countered Dan Orlovsky that Joe Burrow has to go up against the Dolphin defense. Well, I mean, it's going to be a challenge for him. The good thing for Joe is he's got a hell of a group of receivers, and that'll help him out. He's a baller. But as long as that if that offensive line isn't going to block, then, what are you going to do? Do me a favor. Give me 1 minute here. Sean, give me a 1 minute break, sir, right here on the program. Back in
Why is it that you get locked out in the worst moments of your life?
Where are my car keys? Man, I can't find my house keys.
In those frustrating moments, you need a locksmith you can count on. A. Lenny Locksmiths in South Florida, from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, A. Lenny locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business. Car key replacements and programming all model cars. 24-hour service. Call them at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them.
With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty. We are back, baby. We are back. And there he is, the man, the myth, the legend that is Steve Calabro. How you feeling, baby? Feeling good?
Doing great, Big O, especially after this weekend. Went to the game. I'm at the game, enjoying it. It's fantastic. My wife turns to me about 10 minutes before the game ends. She goes, "This is the most exciting game I've ever been at." And then it got more exciting. Okay, so it was fantastic. We had a great time. The finish was fabulous. It was just really surreal, too, like as it happened, that little countdown. All of a sudden, everybody gets on, like it's like 3, 2, 1, and then next you know, a second later, everybody's on the field.
Right.
Very cool. Very cool. So, yes, I'm doing great. I hope you're doing great. I do want to have a shout out.
3-0.
And I just wanted to just change directions just for about a minute.
Okay.
Just a shout out to our other teammates in Florida, up north in the center part of the state. Hurricane Ian, banged up the west coast, southwest coast of the state. Just hoping everything is all right.
Central Florida.
Anything that we can do, certainly reach out, because we certainly have been there and we understand it, and we are definitely praying for them and making sure everything's okay. The storms move past, but now they're cleaning up, and it's pretty messy.
Yeah, no, it's and the storm surge was brutal, and we've all been through it, man.
Yeah, we've been there. I talked to my buddy who lives in Sanibel. He luckily got off the island. They can't even get back on the island. The bridge is blown out. It's a little bit of a mess, and just as living in Florida and having a little bit of consideration for and passion, and empathy for our other fellow Floridian. Hopefully, most of them are Dolphin fans. I guess the chunk of them might be Tampa fans.
Right.
Although it's pretty cool. Did you hear what the organization did? Tampa's been practicing down here.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that. I would have sent their asses somewhere else.
I think it's cool.
Yeah, I know it's a classy thing to do, but
come on, it's all right.
I'm just not all for it. I'm kind of against it.
All right.
Wait a minute. Is that sounding good? What's going on there? What's going on, Sean? What's the word?
Trying to text you. It's got a bad echo and a bad feedback. I think the phone's too close to your microphone.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Damn it. Okay. What is it?
I think the phone is too close to your microphone.
Is it better now?
Okay. All right. I see. Okay. Well, I can't do anything if it's a little too close. Oh, I see what it's doing. It's got a feedback and everything, huh? Okay, it's picking up double the mic. Okay. I see. And now you've got one mic? No.
Better.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
that was better?
It's an echo.
Okay, no echo? All right, Steve. So what do we got for the Let me take this off because I'm getting a delay on my voice. All right, so what do you got on the Wise Guys? Because the Eagles and the Dolphins are the only undefeated teams in the NFL.
And oh, by the way, the Jersey Wise Guy lives in Eagle territory. I just want you to be aware of that. Just you know, he's in Jersey, but it's in Eagle territory. You know, the southern part of the state is Eagle fans. The northern part of the state, New Jersey, is Giant fans. I don't know if people from other parts of the country understand that. The state is literally split in half. They talk about succeeding the whole 9 yards. All right, so here's what he's got.
Okay.
I like two of them a lot. So his first pick, he likes the Cowboys. He likes, I mean, listen, the Commanders are done. I don't know. I mean, Wentz, you have to also understand there's some emotion there. Anybody that's ever rooted for the Eagles is anti-Wentz.
Well, Wentz is, a wuss. So it's the problem is that his tennis folded, dude. He had, after all those injuries, that dude lost his edge. And I heard Ron this past week. Oh, he'll come back. He'll play better. And I know what he's doing. He's trying to get his guy psyched up and give him confidence. What he's supposed to do.
It's all he's got to work with.
Right. But dude, you're seeing Carson Wentz. He's not the answer.
Yeah. And that whole organization's a little weak to say the least. The Washington organization. The next pick is the Steelers. I got to tell you, I like this pick because the Jets are horrible. It isn't that the Steelers have anything. I mean, Mitchell Trubisky. You're gonna bet your money on Trubisky?
No.
But the Jersey guy's going there because the Jets are horrible. The Jets are a horrible organization. They're a horrible team. Joe Flacco, he's gonna throw the ball downhill, and maybe he's gonna have 3 interceptions, and maybe he's gonna have some completions. Who knows? But so the Jets are like, and that's good. Because they're in our division, so they should.
Well, Zach comes back, so listen, he might pick up a classy older babe the night before, and it might get him inspired.
Zach's like 12, right? I mean, he looks like he's 16 years old.
He looks like he's 16, but he hits on women that are 62. So I mean,
Anyhow, somebody told me yesterday, and I don't necessarily agree with this. It was look, Zach Wilson, what's that? He's got a really hot mom. So I Googled it. I don't know. It ain't Miami-Dade, South Florida.
She's a good-looking woman.
Come on, she's all right.
Good-looking woman.
She's all right. It's okay.
Good-looking woman.
I wasn't in the hot category, but
Zach, no, I wouldn't go hot. No.
Yeah, I mean, she was okay. She was an attractive woman.
Right, she's an attractive woman.
But I don't know if
hot is a whole, hot is
hotness.
It's another level. J-Lo is hot.
Exactly. And by the way, a lot of parts of the country, it's not really hot women in Buffalo. You know what I mean? In Erie, Pennsylvania, they don't exist.
No, none there.
Luckily, we live in South Florida, and that's a good thing for us. I mean, we have different definitions, right? You walk down the street, you're like,
yeah, South Florida hot is a whole different level,
it's
bro.
a little different than Erie, Pennsylvania hot.
Yeah.
Or Buffalo hot, for that matter. So and then the last pick, I don't like this pick, but he likes the Colts.
Really?
Yeah, he likes the Colts.
Talk about choking.
I mean, he's the choke artist, the quarterback there.
Yeah, Matt Ryan.
He's the choke artist, but he likes the Colts.
That's turned out to be a terrible signing, by the way.
I hear you, but I can tell you
that one, the Wentz signing, those things aren't working out.
But I think the Titans are in disarray. I think the Titans are a little messed up. So in defense, so that's what it is: Cowboys, Steelers, and Colts.
Okay.
But I have some other things.
All right. What do you think about tonight?
All right. So tonight,
I took the Dolphins +4 yesterday.
Now it's 3.5. I get it, but
I got them at 6.5 last week.
Can I just say one thing? I don't think anybody reports this. I don't think anybody talks about it. You're going to get angry. This is the beauty of this kind of issue I'm going to bring up. The issue I'm going to bring up.
Okay.
The Dolphins are playing great. I mean, it's just a pleasure to watch you now.
Right.
Their offense is clicking. I want to give credit to Tua. He certainly has shown that, and he's a clutch guy. He's a clutch guy. Look, he won the national championship as a freshman. This guy's got clutch in him, right?
Money player.
The coach is looking very smart. I've always thought he's a smart guy. Just wasn't proven. Now he's starting to get some. I think he's smart. I think their defense has really been holding them together. And I love the fact that they're making adjustments in the second half. That's good coaching. So I want to give credit to it and to
59 points in the first half, 18 in the second half.
That's coaching. To me, that's coaching.
3 games.
Reading what's going on, right? But I want to say one thing.
Go ahead.
That defense, they won that game, the first game. We won last week's game because of the defense and some good offense.
No, the offense too, the clutch.
But the defense has been unbelievably stepping it up, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That crew, predominantly, is the Flores defense. And people always poo-poo Brian Flores. I think he did some good in terms of putting that talent there. And they've added a couple bits of talent there.
Yeah.
What's the name? Number 6. That kid is good. That veteran from Chargers.
Yeah, Ingram.
Melvin Ingram. Very good addition, right? I like him a lot. When you watch the game, I watch it from the end zone. So I see Holland, he's in the safety position. Then you see Ingram seems to be in the Agba. So they have a great defense. But I want to give a little credit, just a little, to the fact that Brian Flores built that defense, and these guys are running with it.
Okay, but he's not running it. So
no, but
in
the talent
the end, he doesn't pick the talent.
No, he did.
No, Chris Greer picks the talent.
So you're saying it's all Greer?
Oh, I've always said it's all Greer.
I think
it's all Greer. That's why they fired Flores, because it's all Greer.
that's why Flores is unemployed. But I think
Flores, well, no, he's employed.
Well,
for the Steelers, but he's unemployed from the Dolphins. But yeah, I mean, see, here's the thing with Flo. Yeah, Flo's a good defensive mind. There's no doubt about that. And I'll give him credit while he was here. But this is now Josh Boyer's team.
Oh yeah, Josh Boyer.
And Josh, by the way, was
a great defensive coordinator.
And Josh was also very clear last year that he ran the defense and he made the calls. And so that was kind of, and he reiterated and said, no, I made the calls last year.
Well, he said that after Flores was gone.
Well, okay, but Flores actually never called him a liar. Flores never came out and said, no, I ran the defense.
Well,
it was, all it ever was were reporters talking about it, but nobody ever said anything. And then the players also were like, well, Josh was always making the calls around.
Okay.
And one of our insiders, Marcel Louis Jacques, reported that after Thanksgiving, he wasn't communicating with his own coaching staff.
Time out though. Who hired Josh Boyer? Josh Boyer is doing a great job.
Yeah.
Brian Flores.
Yeah, exactly.
So give some credit to this guy.
Right. I'll give him some credit.
Because I think Josh Boyer is doing a very good job.
Yeah.
And that defense is, I tell you, they don't force that fumble in the New England game, could be a different outcome. I don't know if they would have lost, but it could be a different outcome.
That game was never in doubt.
That fumble that was critical.
That game was never in doubt. It was never in doubt.
It made me be a little more, breathe a little once that fumble
dude, I was worried with the Ravens down 21. But in that, I never had a concern in the Patriot game.
Anyway,
they own their ass.
I just wanted to give a little shout out, but that's the last time I'll bring up Flores because it's not like he's my next door neighbor, my best buddy. I'm just saying that Flores did some good to the organization as a defense.
Yeah.
It actually happens to be coming in the form of Josh Boyer and some of the players.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
And give Boyer and McDaniel some credit. They're wrong. And be able to adjust your defense at halftime. That's critical. This whole NFL thing is being able to adjust as quickly as you can, and certainly being the stats have shown that the second half defense is considerably better than the first half. So that being said, I want to talk about Hialeah Park a little.
Let's
just
do it.
a little.
Yes, definitely. We lose the slots in the state
2 years in a row. 2 years in a row. We also have some phenomenal action here. Not just we have regular poker. We also have our Hold'em poker. I'm telling you, Heads Up Hold'em is the same game as Ultimate Texas Hold'em. It's played on a blackjack table. It is considerably better odds than Ultimate Texas Hold'em. Just look at both games side by side, and I just want the players to know that Heads Up Hold'em is a fabulous game for them. And we've got 6 of them sitting right here, and we're adding 2 more. So,
and by the way, out here they bring you drinks, food, and everything. You can check out all the games going on. You're in captain's chairs, so you're super comfortable too.
downstairs in the slot floor, we gave away a beautiful Alfa Romero.
Oh, I saw that.
You missed it, right? Now you didn't win it. Next time
Sean really wanted the Alfa Romero.
But, but now we're going a little green. I'm not the greenest guy in the world, but we're going green. We got a F-150 electric vehicle.
Ooh,
hard to get. People waited a year.
Is that the Lightning?
The Lightning.
Oh man, that's a badass vehicle, bro.
Give it away. So you'll start earning.
What do I got to do to get into that one? I want the Lightning.
Here's what happens: you earn entries starting October 1st. We're giving it away
on my birthday.
October 1st, you start earning entries. We're giving it away on Saturday after Thanksgiving.
How do you earn entries?
Just by playing. Just by playing. The more you play, the more entries.
So you play at the slots?
Slots.
Okay.
Only on slots. Only on slots.
Okay.
The more you play.
But how do you? What's the entry? Like if I go and put a coin in the slot, and then how do I enter that?
You generate some. Every dollar you put into the slot machine, you generate some points, right? And so when you generate at a certain number of points, and I believe every 5 points is an entry. And then you, at the end of the day of the drawing, you come to the Players Club and you print out all your entries. Some people have 100 entries. Some people have 50. Some people have 500 entries. The more you play, the more you get.
Well, if you want to try to win an F1 Ford Lightning, because I do.
It's a beautiful car. It's going to be here in about a week or two. And, Gus Machado is our...
That son of a bitch will power your home.
It's very cool, too. It's a pickup truck.
By the way, I'm serious. It's got a battery inside that truck that if you want to hook it up to your stuff at home when your house goes out of power or whatever, the Lightning will that's one of the vehicles that I'm targeting.
So I can tell you, there is no engine, right? Because it's an electric car.
Right.
So you open up where the engine is, and it's a trunk. And it's a big trunk.
Yeah.
So you got the back cab, and you have the trunk. It's a very cool vehicle. I saw the vehicle. Over at Gus.
How are you not a green person when you see that thing?
It's awesome. Pretty cool.
And by the way, I think it's like 350 miles or something. The battery?
It's got a nice. I thought it was a little less, like 320 or something like that.
Like 320, right? Yeah, it's over 300, man.
Yeah, it's over 300. It's a very cool car. So here you can play the slots in October.
That's a badass giveaway.
And it's a hard truck to get.
Yes.
People waited online.
Yes.
They had to wait, had to order it like a year and a half ago, and then we think ahead. So we got one.
I want to say that truck, ladies and gentlemen, goes somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 to 75,000.
Yeah, it's just about there. Just about there. We don't have the $70,000 version. We got the.
Well, I don't know which one it is, but I know that it's somewhere. It's somewhere right around 50.
Yeah, the one we could get was in the lower end of the range.
That's probably right around 50.
But a nice vehicle, a really nice vehicle, and
no, it's an awesome vehicle. It's not a nice vehicle. It's an awesome vehicle.
And
it's one of the best made electric vehicles on the planet right now.
I'll make a prediction. It will be.
Congratulations to Ford on that one.
It will be the #1 selling electric American vehicle at some point.
Well, I've stayed away from trucks for many years because of the gas.
There you go. We've got a solution for you.
This is the reason why I'm going to get a truck again.
When it gets here, you can drive it around. Drive it in the parking lot. Test ride it. Victor.
If I get in it, I'm not coming back.
Victor is our guy at
just saying
at Machado Ford in Hialeah, and I'm sure he'll love you because if you get in it,
I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back. I'm telling you.
You'll be back.
No, I'm not coming back.
Well,
keeping the damn car. They're too hard to find.
If we put you in there, we're gonna have to put Victor in there so he can have you sign the documents as you take it off. But so that's fun.
It's like the Acura people are like, hey, so when are you gonna get a new vehicle? I go, when you get in the electric cars, bro.
Yeah.
That's my next. I'm not buying a car until I get an electric car. That's my next car.
I think the F-150.
I bought my Camry only because I totaled my TSX, which I love my TSX. One of the greatest cars I've ever had. No, but it's a tank. It's so reliable. Acura made that. They knocked it out of the park with that car. And obviously, Camrys are a great car. But I had to get a car. I had no choice. But I really wanted to get electric. But at that time, it was a couple years ago. We're still not where we need to be now. You know what I mean?
We got a long way.
But I was talking with a friend of mine. Really, the fastest way we get there, to be quite honest, is people becoming electric in their own homes. That they have solar panels and all that stuff, and they're able to
power everything, because we can't put that kind of pressure on our grids.
Right.
They can't power our homes and then also power all our cars.
Yeah.
That's way too much.
I think we're 5 to 10 years out
Easily.
in terms of the grid and in terms of
Easily
to be able to
10
produce.
years out.
Yeah.
Easily 10 years out, because you've got a lot of people that have to buy those cars, and they're not going to be able to do that for years and years and years.
And
it's just not that simple, man.
And they're a little expensive, like, you know.
And you're going to have to give incredible tax breaks, which they're doing that.
So
This administration is doing that,
Let me
which
tell
I
you what
give
happened
credit.
with us. We went to try to get an electric Tesla, right?
Oh,
So,
okay.
the Tesla, everybody got, it's the #1 electric
Fantastic
car, in the
car.
world, right? Blah, blah, fabulous car.
Yeah,
But they
man.
have 3 miles. So we said we like the inexpensive mile. It's about 50,000, right? Oh yeah, well that's about a 9 to 12 month wait, and you got to put a little deposit down. And okay, what about the next one? Oh, we have like a $65,000 or $75,000 model, but that's about a 6 to 9 month wait. So, wow, we went twice. We went a year ago and we went like 5 months ago. Same thing. So they said, oh, but we have another car. We have the $112,000 model. We can have that in a week.
Right.
You know what I did? I swear to God, I will not. I can show you the document. I went. We left the dealership. I went to my computer and I bought Tesla stock. It was $650. Now it's the equivalent of about $900.
Right.
I said these guys have the best scam going in the world.
Right. Yeah.
They're upselling everybody to $100,000 cars,
Yeah.
right? Because they can't.
And by the way, great job by you buying Tesla stock.
Oh my God,
incredibly
I
smart.
bought it at $650.
Yeah, you got to. Right now's the time to buy
It was
all
like
these
4 months.
things.
It was about 4 years ago. It was
There are
$650.
so many great investments over the last
it's
couple
split
months.
since
It's split. Yeah.
But I bought it for $650. It went to about $900, so it's fine. But that's like in the last 4 months. But that's because I said, wait a second, these guys have the greatest business thing going on. That being said, Tesla's a great car, and that $112,000 car, it's freaking beautiful.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it's beautiful, right? But it's $112,000. So then we went to the Ford F-150, the Lightning. It's beautiful. It is a very cool car.
But you got to wait also.
But we had some maneuvering. We had been talking in the past, and
So you got one?
Tell you in Hialeah, you got to have connections. We have some connections.
Good.
Thanks to our guy over there. So it's all good.
I got to tell you something. I'd rather have the Ford Lightning than the Tesla.
I got to tell you, I think you get. 50% of the people would agree with you. I think a lot of people. I don't know about 50%, but a lot of people would agree.
I don't know about all of the other electric cars, but that one.
Have you driven the
Tesla?
Top Tesla?
No. I'll never be able to buy it. Why the hell am I going to tease myself?
I teased myself. A friend of mine had one.
It's only happened to me one time. I met my wife and I go, wow, maybe I can marry her. And then I got lucky. You know what I mean? Outside of that, I'll never be able to get anything that's way over my head again. I got my wife and it's over. That's it. I did. That's it.
It's
my wife or the car?
Well, your wife, I know her. She's very spectacular too.
You better, because she's sitting right there.
I was talking about the Tesla. I said you're spectacular, but I said it was the Tesla and the F-150. So and I'm going to end it this way. It's the perfect trifecta. Three spectacular things. Big O's wife, the Tesla, and the F-150 Lightning.
There you go.
And we get the F-150 Lightning right here in Hialeah.
There you go.
All right.
Well, gotta get there. All right, my brother. I appreciate you as always. But are you taking the Dolphins today? I'm making my investment. I already did it yesterday. The day before, it was 4 points.
I made my bet, but I will tell you what I did. I got 3.5.
That's fine. I'd take the 3.5 too.
But I didn't bet as much because I'm a little worried that Burrow's got to do good in front of his home crowd there. He is a dangerous guy, but I'm banking on the defense. That whole thing, like instead of adjusting to the defense at halftime, can you adjust at the second quarter?
Right.
Because he's going to do the same thing all game. Just figure out what the hell he's doing his first 2 or 3 drives, because that's what he's going to do all game. And I worry about Burrows because he's good. He's
awesome.
He's wicked.
He's a stud.
I think his team is average.
He's a stud.
His team around him is average, although he's a great running back.
No, his receivers are amazing. He's got the best receiving core in the NFL.
I don't know about that. I think the Dolphins are better.
No.
Come on.
No. The Dolphins have the better 2. They have the better 3.
No. Can I just end it this way? Because you'll get super mad when I say. First of all, I think the Dolphins are better because obviously.
I think they're a better team.
I think that obviously Waddle's fantastic. Their slot receiver they picked up from the Cowboys, excellent. And by the way, we got 2 best receiving tight ends You know, I'm a little favoritism towards that. Berm, what's his name? Durham Smith is
Smith.
very good.
Yeah.
But Kasecki's my guy.
That's
They
your
don't
guy.
use him the way that I'd like him to, but
Oh, he made a hell of a catch the other day.
when they use
in
him,
the
he
end
does
zone.
pretty good. Huh? I mean, oh yeah,
He's fantastic.
He's a very good athlete, receiver.
Look
type.
for Tanner Connor. That's the guy that they're going to use as the season goes on.
Yeah.
That's the guy.
I wish
Watch.
they used my man Big Mike, but that's another
No,
story.
I think eventually they'll use Mike too, but I think they've got some room for Tanner
I
Connor.
think that combination is better than Cincinnati's. And Cincinnati's is good. I mean, that number one there, that Jamar, that guy's unbelievable.
It's a
Chase is amazing. But I still think our receivers are better, but they have good receivers, good running back. Joe Mixon's a good running back. I think their defense is nowhere near our defense.
No.
So
I think Miami's the better team.
So I'm picking the Dolphins tonight, but I'm worried. I'm worried, but I'll be on Prime. I'll be on Prime.
There you go. All right, Steve Calabro, Hialeah Park. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate you.
Take care.
You got it.
Good luck, Dolphins.
Yes, sir. There we go.
Oh, you got to put your mic on, O. Put your mic on, O. Oh, put your mic on, O.
All right, what do you got, Sean?
No, I was telling you, your mic wasn't on. Whatever you were saying.
Damn it. Hold on. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Your mic wasn't on, so whatever you were saying, we couldn't hear.
Damn it. All right, go ahead now. I'm sorry.
Your mic wasn't on before, so whatever you said, we didn't hear if you were talking to us.
Oh, okay. All right. So now it's on. Now we're good. All right. Sorry about the technical snafu we didn't have going on here. We have a little different setup today, so we weren't as prepared for guests as we normally are. I didn't know Steve was actually going to join us and bring his wise guy picks. Time for Sandman to shine. Yeah, let's hope so. Let's hope there's some Sandman going on tonight. When sports and business collide, folks, we like doing something here on the show, and it is called the KSDT CPA Sports Business Report. There we are, a little KSDT CPA Sports Business Report. And in this one's kind of interesting because this has become a sport that a lot of people are getting into. Older people are finding this sport, but younger people are also participating in it. LeBron James is buying a professional pickleball team. LeBron, Kevin Love of the Cavaliers, and Draymond Green of the Golden State Warriors, the trio is part of an ownership group for Major League Pickleball, which currently has 12 four-person teams, but will be expanding to 16 teams next year. The new ownership group announced today brings unparalleled experience and impact across sports media, entertainment, and branding, the league said. With this group, MLP aims to expand the community beyond its current participants into a more diverse communities globally. Pickleball is like tennis. It's a sport that's played inside and outside with either a single player or two players on both sides of the net using paddles to hit the ball back and forth. The number of pickleball players is now at 4.8 million, almost double the numbers from just 5 years ago, according to Sports and Fitness Industry Association. About 60% of players are men, 40% are women. Most of pickleball core players, those who play more than 8 times per year, are over the age of 65. But the game is getting younger, and with the strongest growth among players under 55, says the SFIA. So for you pickleball folks out there, LeBron James is now part of your business along with Kevin Love and Draymond Green. I mean, you have a drone racing league. You have cornhole competitions, right? All of that. I got a new cornhole actually game in my house, thanks to the folks over at Cutter's Edge. So I can't wait to show you the cornhole game that we have over at my house. It's actually pretty cool. But anyway, so I mean, it is a growing sport. So why not? I could see this becoming a league thing. I can see it becoming a TV thing. And I'm sure it's going to get younger and faster and all that kind of. I mean, listen, man, we got people that play ping pong, paddle tennis, whatever, all over the world, and they play it at an incredibly high level, man. So I would not be surprised if pickleball gets to that point. And when you've got people like this getting into the business, they are advised by people that must know something about this. That is your KSDT CPA Sports Business Report.
This has been the KSDT Sports Business Report. KSDT CPA is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax and accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit online at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
All right. John says electric is good until you need a new battery. $5,000 to $25,000 just for a battery, depending on the vehicle. Won't get you much of a trade-in if you keep the electric car for too long. Yes and no. It all depends. I think what you're going to see now, John, in the future is that the batteries are going to be much more interchangeable and they're going to be cheaper. They're expensive now because there's not as much. There's a Vietnamese company. I think they're Vietnamese. I think they're called Spark or Stark or I forgot, but they're starting in California, and I think they have a very interesting concept. Vista, I think is what they're called. I think they're called Vista. Anyway, it's a Vietnamese company. They're the biggest car manufacturer in Vietnam, and so now they're getting into the electric car thing like everybody else is. And they're starting off in California right now. So it's kind of limited, like a lot of these companies are, because we're still in the infancy stages. But what they do is you buy the car, lease the battery. Very interesting concept, because what their idea is that after time has passed, and you've and your battery is either running out of gas or dying out and you need a new battery, you just go right to the dealership and switch it out, and you don't have to pay anything because you have leased the battery throughout. So you'll pay a fee every month for your battery. In other words, whatever it is, $30, $50, $100, whatever it is, but that's kind of your insurance policy for the battery. And so that's something that you're going to need for the lifetime of it. So that's what's going to end up happening. Eventually, you will have companies. What's the name of that? Is it? God, I'm trying to remember that. They're in the stock market, and you can invest in them. There's a company that is just making batteries, and they're going to end up making batteries for all kinds of cars. So it's good. You're not going to have to buy the battery specifically from that specific dealership. Eventually, there'll be companies that will make those batteries also, and they'll become more affordable. But right now, you're 1,000% right, John. Right now, if you have to buy a battery for a car, it's $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 depending on the car. You're right. It's a pain in the ass. It's part of the expense. Now it's 10 years down the line, so you're only buying the battery and not the car. You're not changing the car out. So that's the part of the equation you left out, John. In 10 years, you're selling your car because it's broken down. In 10 years, you're just switching out the battery. That's a different ballgame. So if you're able to just switch out the battery and everything else works in the car just fine, then you're good. So the wear and tear is not the same as it is in a combustible engine, where everything that goes on with it, from the pistons to the spark plugs, well, not even spark plugs anymore, but whatever is inside that damn engine breaks down all the time, and it's a lot more complicated than these electric engines that can go a lot longer. You know, I bought my Chevy Tahoe in 2001. It has 146,000 miles, original transmission, charge, coupe battery, the belt once. Yeah, that sometimes happens with some cars. That doesn't mean that's going to happen with all cars. And in the end, you're still polluting the environment. Now, the batteries will also pollute the environment. And that's going to be part of this process too, is how do you dispose of the batteries, and how can you then try to revitalize those batteries and make them reusable so you're not throwing them away and creating more trash. You know what I mean? We are so early in this process. That's why there's so many things to have to answer and to overcome. It's a lot like crypto. We're in the infancy stages of it all. The infrastructure is now being laid out, and mass adoption won't take place for a couple more years. But the infrastructure is being set for you to all be using it on an everyday basis. We're not there with electric. We're just not there. We're not there for electric homes. We're not there for electric cars. It's going to take a while. This process is not something that you can force, because most of us can't afford a lot of the things that go on with that right now. You know, you've got to be kind of privileged to be able to afford a lot of that stuff. So, Dougie Fresh says, yep, bashing your opinion on batteries now is futile. The advancements are numerous, and tons of billions of dollars, and companies are all motivated to improve it. It's just like any technology. Exactly. Yeah, we're still too early to complain about all this stuff, you know? Who's going to buy the car if you need the 10,000 for a new battery? Like I told you, John, that's now. You know what you're doing, John? You're listening to the wrong people that are just getting you all riled up. Like I said, right now it's for the privileged. That's it. It's not the average person. We're not there yet. And batteries won't cost you that down the line. They'll make them, and they'll make them a lot cheaper. Just like when you bought the first VCR and it was like this. I'm sorry, when you bought the first Beta, because I'm old, okay? The thing was about this thick, this wide, this long, and it cost you thousands of dollars. We had one kid in our neighborhood that had a Beta. One. The rest of us could never afford it. 10 years later, we all had a VHS in our house for $80, $60, $100. You bought the first CD. It cost, I remember my first CD that I bought at Specs cost me like $25. Boston. Yeah. And then prices went down. It's all the same, dude. You think car batteries are going to cost $10,000? No. They're going to get down to $1,000. But right now, you know, don't overreact, John. Right now is not the time. And right now, electric cars aren't for everybody. Right now, the whole system is not for everybody. We're not there yet. This is going to take a while. And that's why it's $10,000 a battery. Because there's not a lot of people that can afford it, and there's not a lot of demand. When demand picks up and it's millions of people buying it, then the production goes up and the costs go down. That's how the game is played. And that's it. So for now, it's not something to it's silly. Okay, John, you know I love you. But it's silly to be complaining about that right now, because it's not for everybody. Now, if it's $10,000 a battery 5 years from now, John, then we got a problem. Then we got a major problem. They have a problem because they're not going to be able to get it off the ground. You know, so just give it some time. None of this happens right away. It's all going to take a while to build this thing up and the entire infrastructure. As I've said, as I just told Steve, we have to get to a point as a world where there's a lot of electric homes. And what I mean by electric homes is that you are sustaining yourself. You are not depending on your local power company for electricity. You have all your solar panels at home, and you're able to recharge and run everything in your house, store energy so when you need it, and power your cars. And then that's when we're going to get there, that when there's a lot of homes that can self-sustain themselves, and that there are chargers all throughout the country. But there is no way, let me explain this to you. There is no way we get there if we don't have homes that can sustain themselves, because there's no way our power grids can sustain our homes and all our cars. Do you know what we're going to need? We're going to need nuclear power plants all over the place. We're lucky in Florida. We have 2 that help us out. Well, I think 1, right? I think the other one's kind of almost out of service or something. I think Turkey Point's the one. But I know it scares the crap out of us and all that stuff, but that's the cleanest energy, and you can get 1 nuclear power plant and it'll power the entire state of Mississippi. And so we have to get to that point where we're going to have to create power plants all over the country so it can then take our grid to the next level. That's the only way our grid goes to the next level, but we need to use cleaner sources and more powerful sources like nuclear. So we've got to get to the point where we have more nuclear power plants. We got to get to the point where we have more sustainable homes, okay? And then that's the way our power grid will be able to then survive and be able to have millions and millions of electric automobiles out on the road. But this is going to take a while. That's all. And we're in the beginning stages of all this crap. Let's see. 120 years ago, everybody had horses, and they never broke down, and they worked fine. Bet you don't ride a horse to work every day now. Exactly. And you won't ride a gas automobile to work also. Very true, Ragin. Very true. Besides, nobody keeps their cars for 10 years anymore. That is very true. Although my TSX was 10 years. It was a 2010, and I totaled it in 2020. And I would have kept, and I had no plans on selling my TSX. None. God, I love that car. God, I love that car. The 280ZX, my Datsun 280ZX, and my Acura TSX are my 2 favorite cars that I've owned all time. The most reliable vehicles I have ever had in my life. I would have never sold my TSX. I would have waited to get the right electric car before I sold my TSX. I'll tell you that for sure. Where do you put the spent batteries? EVs are flawed. We need hydrogen-powered transportation. The hydrogen is a little bit, that one's going to be a lot harder to make in a mass production. The batteries will be, again, you all are getting way ahead of yourselves. Okay? All that kind of stuff will all be figured out as time goes on. Batteries will get reused. Batteries will be, they won't be just thrown away to cause all kinds of damage to our environment. So again, what they're doing now, this is just the beginning of all of this. They'll figure it all out. Anyway, we're out of here. We thank Alan Poupart, Marcel Louis Jacques. We thank Steve Calabro. We thank all of you for always tuning in and keeping it locked here. Thank you so much. We'll be back in a couple of hours. We'll be back at 6:15 to get you ready for a little Miami Dolphins and Cincinnati Bengals. And then we'll be back in the evening for a post-game show to rock it out and talk about the Dolphins being 4-0. Y'all be good out there. Be safe. We'll see you at 6:15. Same place, same bat channel. Have a good one.